It is 9:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned in to Beltway Radio and Beyond, which can mean one and only thing. But this is ChipChat. Welcome to ChipChat. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told him, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir. The bell's working.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, I think so. But I spent the last several weeks tuning that up. I've done literally nothing
you've been
else.
actually working on the bell and tuning up the bell. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I've been dialing it in, running sound checks. It was a lot. Well, like every other time when we're off, the world is off.
Yeah, it stops.
Nothing happens. So I decided to be useful with my time.
Yeah. I mean, fix the bell.
Yeah.
Bell of freedom.
The bell of freedom. It's a Liberty Bell.
Exactly. There it is.
Yeah.
Go blue.
Oh, Lord. Already?
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
How's the last team that I have where I have taken on this year that I hope are they winning? Is Miami winning? That's my college football team. That's why I adopted this year.
I didn't look. My wife just yelled out that somebody kicked a 58-yard field goal, but I don't know whether it was Ole Miss or Miami.
It continues.
We'll see. I'm actually rooting for Ole Miss here just because I really want to see them win everything after Lane Kiffin left and prove that once again, him bailing on a team early is going to stop him from ever winning a championship.
Halftime 17-13 Miami. Let's go, Miami.
All right, there you go.
Belt the ass.
Yeah, that's not belt to ass at all. But let's.
No, I'm saying we need that. That's Miami's the team I picked this year. That was the team I ran with as a college football team. So
there you go. Well, I mean they're mostly Cuban, so that sounds about right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to the Canes, the school that produced such greats as Sean Taylor and Clinton Portis, and also all of those other guys that ended up committing Medicare fraud. So
that's what you do. Come on, look where they are coming from.
They have a class in that down there.
Exactly. They Miami University teaches the class, or South Florida in general.
It's South Florida. Yeah. What else is there?
Not Miami in general.
If you're not scamming Medicare, you're just too old and bad at it, really.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Also, shout out to your Gunners today who pulled a draw against Liverpool.
And everybody, you're a casual observer of the English Premier League. Like, well, Liverpool, didn't they win? But no, that's the Liverpool.
They're trash right now.
Exactly. And
they're in like a absolute turmoil regarding their coach and half their players are refusing to play. And
this is like a spark for them.
This was a good day for the Reds. Yeah.
Terrible.
We also pulled a draw, which you didn't mean to, but yeah. All right. So we've successfully avoided talking about anything important for long enough. Let's go on with the show. So as usual, nothing happens while we were gone, but some things that didn't happen are U.S. activities in Venezuela. Hooray! The shooting in Minneapolis, which was going to be the lead story tonight.
But hold my beer.
Tonight.
Hold my beer. Portland said, hold my beer.
Yeah. Man, those federales ain't playing around. They're out here just looking for people to shoot now.
Clearly the snowball effect begins, right? I'm not gonna take all the credit for predicting all of this on this show every single time I'm right, but this does start to look like that a little. So we'll get to that. Let's see. The fact that the kids are all going to die from all kinds of vaccine preventable diseases, that was going to be a lead story tonight too, that somehow got buried. It's it's Make America 1905 again, basically. I do feel like that, right? It's it's sort of like turn of the century American imperialism. We've got declining life expectancy, the rise of the robber baron class, the just abject deference to rampant capitalism with no regard for the children working in the factories or anything like that. It's
It's pretty fantastic out
I mean,
there.
it's because it's when you finally break away from that, right? 1905, or even go, or like what, like
maybe
the end
1895.
yeah, but when you start finally breaking away from that and things change, it seems, at least in this case here in the US, that people forgot how like difficult it was to move away from that, and like, or like, you didn't have to keep at it, like you didn't have to actually like participate and like be knowledgeable about what's going. And granted, the government and a variety of different laws, and just like you could pick and choose where you want to pinpoint this. And I say the 2000 election is a very good, like,
Yeah,
I think that's a good election
I
to
think
be like,
that's the beginning of the end in many
yeah,
ways.
like if it, I mean, who knows? But if it went Gore, I think this looks very different right now. But needless to say, I think it's hard. Like, folks have to continue. There's been a lot of defense played against the American people to participate in the democracy and like continuously make this work, right? But it's at this point, we like, yeah, wake up, figure out how to like, you got to kind of get involved at this point. And there are a lot of people who are involved, but
Yeah, for sure.
Just being knowledgeable about, I guess, what's going on. And I get that's hard because we're all getting our information from all these sources. I understand this is easier said than done. But yeah, it feels like all the work that was put in coming out of World War II, all these things, like, no one really believes in any of that shit no more, because not our leaders don't believe in it, but it's also like the people don't believe in it.
The consensus is gone,
Yeah.
But you're right that people kind of forget the hard work that went into women's suffrage, or
Right.
like the creation of the FDA, or how much work it took to bust
these diseases that used to be there. Like, I think you just get so comfortable. It's weird. I don't know. I can't really explain it, because I'm like, how do you think they're not here? And you're like,
well, the analog to this is the way that people sort of take safety of various things totally for granted, because there are so many rules and safety like, nobody's afraid to ride an elevator anymore. Nobody's afraid to ride an escalator or get in a car. There was a time when that was like a dicey decision. You might not have wanted to do it. But now people are like, oh, well, this thing is definitely going to work. So much is the case that people get on roller coasters and things, that are specifically meant to almost kill them, but not kill them. And they're utterly confident that it's all going to be fine. And nowhere in that conversation is there's a mountain of regulation and enforcement that keeps this thing safe. And we've all just totally forgotten that. There's this myth, especially on the right, the people who want to have unchecked, rampant capitalism, let's call it, that the FDA or the EPA or any of these things are just like regulations for the sake of regulation, that it came out of thin air from somebody wanting to thwart businesses' ability to make money, and not because people were dying. Children were dying in factories producing formaldehyde candy that that everybody was eating.
I was going to say widget went there, but yeah, you wanted to go.
Yeah. It was so god awful terrible that people literally were marching in the streets for things like basic safety or a 40-hour work week.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like, you don't understand.
A weekend. The idea that you don't work on a Saturday is a crazy idea.
Yeah.
100 years ago.
I it's funny. I remember, like, years ago, I was eating somewhere in Miami, and I was talking to someone. The server, she was just like, yeah, such and such. I don't know how I got on. She's like, I don't trust the government. And I was like, I didn't go back and forth, but in my mind, I was like, oh, we trust the government every day. Like, it's kind of the only way like the nation can kind of keep like how this all works together.
Because you didn't walk out of your house and duck thinking there might have been an airplane come falling on you or something like that.
You got on my metro, my car, the bus, metro train, like you
got in your car and drove, and there was a stoplight, and then you sat and waited at the stoplight because
everybody else did too.
That everybody else is going to follow those same sets of rules. And then if you take the Trump ethos of like, well, the Russians don't follow the rules, why should we? Then like, yeah, fucking stoplight. Fuck that noise. What the hell? Shoplifting? Nah, I'm taking that shit. I'm showing strength. This is my God-given right.
And when you get T-boned in your car, hopefully no one comes to come pick you up, right?
Yeah, pick yourself up by your goddamn bootstraps and take yourself to the hospital. And
what hospital? What hospital? What hospital? Where are you going? Is it a private hospital?
Private hospital.
Yes. A private hospital. You have to go. I mean, yeah, it's
with electricity that they generate from their own fucking generator, from the coal that their children dig out of the ground. This country is so profoundly socialist and so profoundly people who preach this rugged individualism and are all mad about Mamdani or whatever and do it all by tweeting it out on the airwaves that are and the phone system and the internet that the FCC keeps up, and they expect their fucking mail to get there every day, and they believe that if they call 911, somebody's going to answer that phone. All of that.
They're like, goddamn the government.
This bullshit.
And again, I'm not saying, look, there's a line with the government. I'm just the way it's portrayed. I'm just like, no, we all really we have to kind of do this to make sure.
Did she accept your money when you tried to pay her?
Yes, of course.
I wonder who printed that. And why should she trust it? It says on the money, in God we trust.
That's who you try, and look, that's who they're trusting. It's
but who printed that on the money?
It wasn't God.
Yeah, the real God. Right. The Bureau of Engraving.
Sorry, that's
all right. We definitely DJ'd to ourselves there for a good little bit. So yeah, also we're gonna ask Brian about how he's feeling now that his Lord and Savior John Harbaugh has been removed.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn!
Speaking of Miami, Mike McDaniel just got fired.
Fuck!
So John Harbaugh will be the new head coach of the Dolphins in about 5 minutes, I'm sure. It's a nice place to retire right here while it still exists. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you have a word?
Oh yeah, I have a word.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say we're gonna try this out. All right.
Oh, who knows? I don't know if it'll work.
Yeah. So sit back, grab some
federalism.
It's revolution time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
It sweeps.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's poppin', y'all?
All right. Yeah.
So you want to do some headlines so we can at least get the thing that's nominally funny out of the way?
Yeah, and then everything else goes to sadness
It's
and
gonna be
despair
really
afterwards.
bad. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. It's been a
Okay.
while. I'll be a little rusty on this. All right. It's been a busy week. The following people are out of a job: Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh, Mike McDaniels, as we just heard.
Yes.
I think those guys out in Atlanta, are they still there? I don't know.
Raheem Morris.
Is he still okay? Right?
Not fired. Yeah.
Not fired. Then the list goes on. And Nicolas Maduro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the United States move to capture Maduro has brought up many questions about the legality of the move and exactly how much Exxon paid for the new Trump administration oil access.
Soon, a number soon to be determined.
Yeah, that's right.
Donald Trump continued to express his desire to annex Greenland, despite numerous staffers reminding him that the eggs and ham don't actually come from there.
That was a good one.
I can remember reading that book for the first time.
So can Ted Cruz. The people of Greenland, huh?
They have that book in Canada?
Yeah, it's hilarious. No, he didn't read it until he did a filibuster in the Senate.
Oh God, yes, I forgot.
He read that on the floor of the Senate.
I forgot.
Yeah. That's one of his best moments. No, they sell it in the airport in the terminal on the way to Cancun. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's where that.
All right. The people of Greenland, meanwhile, responded to Trump's provocation with a calm that can only come from the knowledge that Trump couldn't identify Greenland on a map if he had to. No, Mr. President, that's just New Jersey. Again.
But Stephen Miller knows where it's at.
That's right.
Don't tell him. That's who knows where it's at. Everything is at. After the U.S. moves in, Venezuela, China suddenly got super interested in Filipino food for no reason.
That's right.
At all, for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, it's just delicious. What are you saying?
Of course.
All right. In a briefing to Congress about Venezuela, it was revealed that Jenna Jameson was involved in the planning due to her extensive knowledge about snatching dictators. Marjorie Taylor Greene left Congress, marking the first time January 6th has happened, and it went the right way.
Christ.
That was our Congress jokes.
That's good. Good Congress joke. Good Congress joke. FIFA has come under some scrutiny recently as their Peace Prize winner recently bombed another country and kidnapped their despotic leader. Next year's prize winner, Xi Jinping, has already begun preparing Trump's jail cell.
Yes. Oh, man. The soccer world experienced a bit of a coaching carousel, much like their NFL cousins, but no Americans noticed.
No one.
Nope.
Man, you.
I hear they want you to take that job.
Exactly. Yeah. But never keep that job, that terrible ass job. College basketball kicks into high gears. Millions of dads everywhere spend 45 minutes telling their families there's just 23 seconds left in the game. God, that's funny.
Is that true or what?
That's so true.
I got my oldest hooked on it that last weekend, though. I was like, come here. This is the most exciting thing you've ever seen in your life. And she's like, oh, my God. And then I was like, yeah, that you're in. That's it. That's all it takes. All right. The Washington Post reported that FIFA is cutting, or I'm sorry, FEMA. Same thing.
Same thing. I would have, if you'd have said FIFA is doing these cuts, I would have believed you.
That's very funny. FEMA is cutting huge amounts of staff, which is likely to be an unmitigated disaster, which incidentally is the new FEMA slogan.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, how can you assist with disasters if you don't know what a disaster is?
An unmitigated disaster.
Unmitigated disaster.
You have to leave it unmitigated if you want to be in FEMA.
That's a good, yes,
yep.
Unmitigated.
Go ahead.
Holiday season was huge as Americans spent big on Labubu's electronics and regret.
Yes.
A lot of regret.
Yep. Taylor Swift announced a large donation to the American Heart Association, but it turns out they fix a different kind of broken heart than most of her songs are about.
Speaking of music stars, Beyonce became a billionaire, which means Chip will stop ignoring her calls.
Yep. Now I'll finally pick up now.
There you go.
And speaking of billionaires, Elon's Grok is in hot water for using AI to do terrible things, or as Elon calls it, Tuesday.
Yo, this terrible is just
terrible is generous.
While it's being generative.
Degenerative
AI.
I'm going to caution all of our listeners, all 6 of you, do not go look and see what Grok has been doing, especially image-wise. Don't go look at that. That's not good. That's bad for people, all people. Okay, moving on. I don't want to even know that that's happening.
Back in domestic news, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem ordered her forces to hunt down immigrants and people who impede DHS personnel like dogs. And this time she means it like how she hunts dogs. You know how she hunts dogs.
Yeah, I wrote that before.
Yeah.
Before this one.
Yeah.
After shooting a white lady in an SUV in Minnesota, ICE agents moved quickly to find an even more sympathetic group to attack. A white mom, no less. Single mom.
Yeah, that story.
Whose husband is dead.
Yes. Yeah, that story is dumb sad.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why the people are enraged. I mean, they're enraged. You want to get people some people imagine you sitting around in your house up there, you're just like, oh, and you're looking at your kids and you're just thinking, you're like, that's how people will hit the street.
That's how people turn into John Q. Either you snatch their grandma or like you do some shit like this, and people are like, you know what? Fuck this noise.
Yeah, like it's not surprising at all.
Yep.
Christ. So at the end, right? Oh, this is a fun one. Yes, this is a fun one. And finally, in weather news, Juneau, Alaska received 7 feet of snow, or what Don Jr. calls a decent Friday night.
There you go. Those are the headlines.
Might get some blowback for that one.
Oh. I don't know. That was right on the line.
Good. Is Miami still up? Cocaine's.
That one made me laugh so hard I snorted.
Scarface. Sorry.
All right, we're taking a break. It's out of control. Out of control. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Snort.
Come and get caught up in a fight. Put your phone down, make a connection. Money can't buy. Put your phone down, all up on the gram. I need you in real life. Put your phone down, all up on Snapchat. I need you by my side. Put your phone down. I have wanted you for some time, but I don't know how to let you know I'm here. Life is in the moments, not the likes. So put your phone down, let me make this clear. No need for the screen when you're right beside me. Touching on me, want your loving on me. Boy, give me a chance, I'll be everything you need. Come and get caught up in a fight. Put your phone down, make a connection. Money can't buy. Put your phone down, all up on the gram. I need you in real life. Put your phone down, all up on Snapchat. I need you by my side. Put your phone down. Everything you want is all I have to give, my darling. Let me let you know. Stay with me, I'll fulfill all your needs. I'll give you everything you want and more. No need for the screen when you're right beside me. Touching on me, want your loving on me. Boy, give me a chance, I'll be everything you need. Come and get caught up in a fight. Put your phone down, make a connection. by my side. Need you by my side. Put your phone down.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
Brian, who was that?
Was that AI?
That is a friend of the show's cousin. If everyone remembers, a long time ago, we had Ebony. She was our liquor connoisseur from a place that she doesn't want to refer to anymore. But anyway, her cousin is Lena Marie. And of course, the title song is called Put Your Phone Down. So she's been doing music for a little bit. And Ebony brought the song in to me, and I heard it and I liked it. I figured share it to the world.
Pretty good song.
Pretty good song. Yeah, I'm glad it's not AI. Thank God.
She made cocktails, right? She had like the cocktails in a bottle, little kits and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, she had cocktails or straight up whiskeys and things like that. Yeah,
I remember. That was a pretty good show. That was when we had a studio and we could share moments like that. All right, let's share another moment here. We're going to talk about Venezuela, which we're going to get the trusty globe out.
There you go. Globe time.
It's a globe time.
Oh,
so
look at this graphic.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty good. They look like they're about to kiss. All right, so this here is Venezuela. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's this gray one there, right next to Colombia, and so yeah, it's on the northern coast of South America, which is not a continent that we live on. That's a whole nother continent. It's about 2,000 miles away from the U.S. southern border. It's Venezuela basically produces two things. They produce oil and baseball players, and we're grateful for both of those things. But they have, for a long time, been ruled by first Chavez and now Nicolas Maduro. And the Chavismo world, right? He came to power in the late 90s as a socialist revolution and sort of cult of personality. And weirdly, he had a radio show, which just really goes to tell you, don't trust people with radio shows.
Yeah, clearly.
They might overthrow the government. And
I feel like radio show, just the form of communication lends itself towards this type of shit. Dictatorship. Type of shit. It does. I agree.
Yeah, I think I agree, and I think we should try it again. So, and specifically about his radio show, I just want to bring this up about Hugo Chavez, is that even after he was dead, his show was still being broadcast. It was just in reruns.
Syndication.
Yeah, and it was still popular, much like Rush Limbaugh, and
yeah.
And after he was dead and had been dead for some time, from his mausoleum in, I assume, Caracas, I'm not quite sure where it was, it had loudspeakers that just played on a loop his show, from years and years and years of him doing. And he did the show while he was president. It wasn't like he got famous doing radio and became a politician. He just had a radio show as president. That was his way of talking to the people.
It's like a coach having a show on local sports talk radio.
Yeah, a little like that. Yes.
On a larger scale. But
yeah, I think that's exactly right. That's a good way to put it. All right. So after Chavez dies, right? And he called George Bush the devil, and he was like, "Oh, this place smells like sulfur. George Bush was here." And he was a character, right? He was a character. Yeah. His successor was this guy, Nicolas Maduro, who was nothing like Chavez. I mean, he had absolutely no charisma at all. He's kind of dull and uninteresting and stuff. And he tried to run the country and he was really struggling. He struggled for a long time at trying to get the people behind him, because he wasn't as charming
and interesting as Chavez. But he learned over time how to be much more of that. And he also learned an important trick that Chavez didn't really need to do as much, which is massive repression. And basically, Maduro got people to either get along or leave. And there was this mass exodus of people. About a quarter of the country left, which is a lot. It's a lot of people. It's the biggest exodus of any country in South American history. And it's crazy, right? And a lot of those people went to Colombia. They went to Peru. A lot of them went to Argentina. I think we even covered it on the show that so many Venezuelans ended up in Buenos Aires where they had exactly one baseball field.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
That it was scheduled like around the clock because they were all the Venezuelans wanted to do was play baseball, and there was only one place to do it. So I think they've subsequently built several more. And all of this is kind of underpinned by what Chavez was able to do, which was sell oil, and Maduro was able to sell oil to kind of keep this whole thing going, even as the economy utterly collapsed around him, and all of that. And then even with an embargo on his oil, he was selling it like to countries that don't give a shit about rules,
right,
like China and Russia. And you'd think, oh, Russia makes their own oil. What were they doing? Well, they were transporting a lot of the oil, right? They were using their fleet of shadow tankers to do that. And they were selling it to the Chinese, and they were selling it to the Indians, and they were selling it to a bunch of other people who just don't give a shit about sanctions or rules or anything like that. And they were doing it in a way that they could kind of get around, like, secondary sanctions that the U.S. does, where,
we weren't really enforcing this type of shit. It doesn't like it. It didn't feel like it wasn't like there was a big spotlight over the last. I mean, prior actually to Donald Trump, I would say, on Venezuela. Like it didn't like not in the sense of like, oh, we're gonna go and monitor where this. We've been knowing that's gonna happen. Like it's happened for a long time.
Generally speaking, the mechanism of sanctions, as far as the U.S. can enforce them, right? Because we can't really tell other countries what they can and can't buy.
And those two other countries are big ass countries, being China and Russia.
Yeah,
and India.
but the big thing we can do is impact the way they can move money around, because most of the world's money moves through U.S. banks and moves in U.S. dollars. And so by
oil
control
itself in general, like, right?
Yeah, it's priced in dollars. And so what the U.S. can do is basically make it difficult to transact these things, even if they can still obviously move ships full of this stuff wherever they want. I mean, we're not going to be stationing the Navy off the coast of India, checking every ship that comes in to be like, where are you from? Right? We can't do that. But that would be like blatantly illegal and something like piracy, which until very recently was not a thing that the United States.
I was going to say just until recently.
Yeah. So like, and people might think of like an embargo or a blockade in the way that, like, of course, the Cuban Missile Crisis is the thing that everybody can recall, right? That's a very small island, and it is possible for the U.S. Navy to surround it and keep things from going in or out. But the world oil supply, there's just too much of it, and we don't have the size Navy to really enforce that. So we mostly enforce it through money. And the Venezuelans were Maduro was willing to basically take a huge per barrel pay cut to just keep selling oil to keep himself going. And that was all kind of like moving right along. They were also running a lot of cocaine through Venezuela. They weren't producing a lot of it in Venezuela, but they were moving the stuff from Colombia up to the Venezuelan ports on the Caribbean, and then zipping it literally like 10 or 15 miles across the water to Trinidad, and then getting it on the big ships that were going to Europe and North Africa, mostly to Europe, right? So they were moving a lot of cocaine through there. And that was it. And they were kind of like, they were cruising right along, doing that. And then Trump gets it in his mind that there's like something much bigger going on in Venezuela, or maybe there's something he wants that's in Venezuela.
So he sends the Navy down there with the largest aircraft carrier that we have, the Gerald Ford, which has those electric powered catapults that he hates so much and he says don't work, but apparently work just fine. And the USS Iwo Jima and 15,000 Marines. And they're all just kind of like hanging out off the coast of Venezuela. And everybody's like, hey, man, what are you doing with all that shit down there in Venezuela? And the Trump people were like, nothing. We're just doing it to, keep an eye on stuff. And then they started shooting at the drug boats and blowing them up.
A lot of boats.
Yeah, and they blew up the boats, and then they blew up the boats like after they blew up the boats just to make sure they're extra dead. And then the world was like, "Hey, man, what? Why are you doing what?" And even Congress was like, "Hey, you need to show us like why you're doing this." And the Trump people were like, "No, the fuck we don't." And they're like,
"And when we do, we're only going to show Republicans."
Yeah. And then Congress finally got like enough of their spine together, and they're like, "We're going to take Pete Hegseth's like allowance if you don't show us the videos." And so then they're like, "Fine, here's the videos." And the videos are bad, right? Show
everybody who comes out of the videos are bad.
Everybody's like, "Hey man, you blew up that guy's boat and he's floating on a scrap, and then you like drone struck him personally." And the Trump people are like, well, he could have called for help and that would have put him right back on the battlefield and he's an enemy combatant. And they're like, no, he's just a guy adrift at sea after you blew up his boat. And they're like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up or we'll drone strike you. And then they're like, I live in Kentucky. And they're like, we don't know what a Kentucky is, but we'll fucking blow that shit up too. So then, all right. So all that happened and everybody's kind of like uncomfortable with it, right?
Yeah.
And
it's
then,
illegal.
And yeah, but we're going to get to legal in a second. And then what was it, Christmas Day or the day after Christmas? Like we all wake up to like, oh, there was explosions in Venezuela and what the fuck? And Trump goes, oh yeah, we attacked, he tweets it out. He goes like, yeah, we attacked Venezuela. We've grabbed Maduro and his wife for whatever reason, and they're on their way back to the United States. And everybody was like, you did what? And he's like, yeah, we
and
just.
The first initial picture of this has a big Twitter. There's Twitter up and they change these photos after. There's Twitter in the background on that huge screen that they have.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, that can't be there. And I looked and I was like, oh, wait, no. Yeah, that screen that's back there, it's not zoomed in, but that screen that's in the back. And mind you, they're not doing this at the White House.
No, they're in Mar-a-Lago. You can see the pipe and drape behind him.
Drape is up.
They're in a fucking ballroom.
Oh, with this. I want to like to add something else too.
Go ahead.
So if you see this cord,
yeah,
that's Ethernet.
Okay, it's not plugged into anything.
Yeah,
right. So what is it? That's where there was a computer.
It's supposed to be a phone line, and he's not connected to the phone, and the phone is right next to it.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's a good point.
I mean, who's he gonna call?
And it's for ops, anyways.
Yeah, it's just supposed to look nice. So
he looked so upset. He looked so upset during that press conference at 11, where he couldn't be like playing golf. Like,
yeah,
he looked so mad.
So then.
I can't believe they scheduled this on the weekend.
Yeah, they did it over the weekend. And everyone's like, what happened, right? And so then they're like, don't worry, we'll tell you all about it. We'll have a press conference like 17 hours. So then they had this press conference and Trump.
Oh, don't forget he truthed it early in the morning.
He tweeted it out. That's what I said. He tweeted out that he's like, we've got Maduro, and he's
yes.
Okay. I don't bother with this Truth Social bullshit. It's just Twitter. He's just tweeting.
It's not tweeting. It's not because there's no Twitter.
Whatever. He wants Twitter. He wants Twitter back, and that's what he's doing. He's tweeting, but he can't tweet, or he can tweet now, but he doesn't.
Why would he? Because he that would take away from his own business.
Right. He can't grift Elon. So, all right. So he goes, yeah, we got Maduro, and then that's it, and we're gonna put him on trial for narco terrorism, which is not a thing. It doesn't exist in the criminal code. You can be accused of narcotics trafficking. You can be accused of terrorism. There is no such thing as narco terrorism because that isn't a word and it doesn't make any sense. But okay, cool. And then he goes on this press conference and they're like, well, what's going to happen? And he's like, we're going to run Venezuela. And I was like, oh, that's a line in a Harry Belafonte song. And he was like, no, not that guy. Fuck that guy. And I was like, are you sure? Because it's a pretty good song. And he goes, no, I know about Harry Belafonte, and there's something about him I can't quite put my finger on that I don't like about him. And so then he's like, shut up, I'm going back to my press conference. So then I let him go back to his press conference. And he goes, we're going to run Venezuela. And everybody's like, what does that mean? He's like, you're going to find out. And then he sends out. Go ahead.
Does he bring Pete up next? He's like, well, Pete's going to. Yeah, I was like, because I met as soon as Pete came up, I was like, the drunk.
Yeah. So he goes, the people behind me are going to run Venezuela. He doesn't even know who's behind him, right?
No.
And then he's like, all right, one of you guys come up here, right? And he just sort of like whips around. And he goes, Marco, you speak Mexican. Come up here and explain to the people. So like then Lil Marco has to come out. Now Lil Marco already has 18 jobs, right? He's nominally Secretary of State. He is in charge of the now defunct USAID. He is also the National Security Advisor. He is also the Archivist of the United States. He's also like, he has a lot of jobs, right? And he's not very good at most of them. So why not just give him another one? So he's like, yeah, Lil Marco here is going to run Venezuela. And Lil Marco is like, yeah, the fuck I am. So he goes out on all the Sunday shows and he's like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run Venezuela. And everybody's asking him the same question. Like, what? You know, like you can't just like take over another country and do stuff. And then you get to Stephen Miller, right? And Stephen Miller's like Lil Marco's henchman, right? He's like his muscle.
Yeah. He is the muscle.
Yeah. And so they keep asking both of these guys the same question of like, what's the legal justification for what you're doing? And Miller basically comes right out and says it.
Yeah.
Legal is what the fuck we say it is. Who's going to stop us? That's the real question.
We're a
right?
superpower. Superpowers move as superpowers do, right?
Yeah. And all right, so here's what we know, right? Here's the detailed bullet points of what we know. The U.S. military with the CIA and the DOJ attacked Venezuela. They captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who turns out is not named Melania. We were surprised to find that out. Trump keeps calling her that anyway. And then the U.S. announced it was running Venezuela. Nobody knows what that means. The vice president under Maduro is a lady named Delcy Rodriguez. Her brother is in charge of their Congress. So that's super helpful. She was sworn in as president, first ordered to serve as president by their Supreme Court, and then later sworn in by their General Assembly. Maria Corina Machado was sidelined by Trump. Trump said that she didn't have what it takes to govern, despite the fact that she just won the Nobel Prize for, being the legitimate leader. Really, she and her party have won the last two elections that Maduro just decided to ignore, and she even dedicated her Nobel Prize to Trump, but she didn't give it to him. And the Post is reporting that that's why he basically iced her and was like, I shouldn't say iced her, froze her and said, iced would mean a different thing. Yeah. And froze her and said, like, nah, you don't get to go back and rule the country that you definitely should be in charge of. And so
the New York Times did an interesting story on just they don't look at her as someone, like her ideology around how she operates. There's no compromise with, like, I think they were trying, like, there was a story about them trying to work with her to get out some of the political prisoners and the folks who are like prison there. And she was just like, I'm not talking to Maduro. Like, I don't compromise.
She's too much. She has too many principles, and they don't like that.
They don't like that, and especially when what they're trying to do, where the person they did swear in, not only let me not question her principles. I'll just say, like, but you're in the regime that you're in, so I'll just leave it there. But when it comes to oil, she is like, she knows, she basically is the reason that they're able to be able to push out oil now to other countries.
That's right. She re-engineered the economy after Maduro flattened it. And so she does know the oil sector very well. which is kind of important here.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody, they're not this. Everything is very calculated in this administration. Like it's not 2016, man. It's different. The people, maybe not from him, but the people in the back, they're doing some it's actually
they're moving
very
with
jarring.
purpose. They're moving with purpose.
They don't have much time. They know they don't have much time.
They know that they have to move quickly, and they know that they have to move decisively to get the stuff that they want while they can get it, and then be ready for the backlash and be able to weather the backlash. That's what they
got 7 months, and I don't know if they get sworn in, if it gets sworn in the Congress, but they got 7 months, y'all. That it's clear as day. It's clear as they have 7 months.
Yeah,
before
they got to move fast. But I think these guys are also knowing that they're committing crimes at an incredible rate. They're planning to pack up suitcases full of money and like head to Dubai or whatever. They're not planning.
There's going to be a mass exodus that they don't.
Yeah, they're going to leave and hope that the pitchforks don't get them. All right, so somewhere in this this mix, like Juan Guaido, who won the first election against Maduro, is totally MIA. Yeah. Nobody's heard from him. I think he's in Colombia, but nobody really knows where he's at. And then like after all of that happened, right? Then like just a couple of days ago, the U.S. seized 2 more ships that they claim were carrying Venezuelan oil, and one of them belongs to Russia. And we're already getting on great with old Pooty Poot. So they were just like, yo, give me your fucking boat. And they just took it, right? Like the Navy
Russian submarines not far away from
not far away. They just like snatched this boat. They sailed up to it and they jumped on the boat and they're like, we are the captain now. And then they just took the boat and then and dared the Russians to shoot at them. Which that part doesn't really bother me. Let me tell you why. Just briefly, right? Because the thing we're about to get to is all the conspiracy around this. If you think that the Chinese and the Russians are up to sneaky shit, which I think they are, fucking shoot them. Or, at the very least, expose them, right? And be like, hey, there's a submarine right there, right in Greenland. We're right sailing into the like harbor in Copenhagen, and then like show the world that, right? And be like, get your fucking submarine out of this place or we're going to do it. And then they got a choice they can make, right? But at the very least, there is a way to demonstrate strength that doesn't involve violating the sovereignty of other countries. You can do it the way that the United States has traditionally done it.
Those are gone. Those rules, that world order is over. That world order is over of how they.
I'm not saying you need to follow rules, and I'm not about to say the Israelis are a paragon of like what you should be doing. But when it comes to doing gangsta ass shit to prove that you are nobody to fuck with, they're pretty good at it, right? Let me check my pager. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, so like, if you really did want to let the Russians know that you mean business, fucking do it. And don't and I don't mean do it clandestinely and then walk away. I mean do it and then show everybody you did it.
I don't see that happening from
but that would be real strength.
Yeah,
right? That would be a real way to show them that you can fuck with them hard. Okay,
I mean, America has used its real strength many times, like over the last 100 years. I mean,
my solution to this would be to like sail a sub into their only ports that they have access to on the Baltic, right? Pop up, release a bunch of rubber duckies with American flags on them, and sail away, and then just leave. And let them see the rubber duckies when they come out in the morning and be like, oh, fuck. They were right here. And they chose to leave rubber duckies instead of a fucking ICBM. But they could have left a crater. Okay? That's how you do it.
I mean, but that I don't think that provocation. I don't know. Like, what do we do?
Provocation, nothing. If Miller is gonna go out there saying, and I hear the MAGA people saying the Russians and the Chinese do it, why shouldn't we? Which is the worst fucking argument I've ever heard about.
I think the MAGA people are frustrated with these operations outside the country. I don't think
some of them are
a decent amount. I don't think this is what the hell they signed up for either. And this is you're clear, like, one of the strongest people in MAGA, a MAGA darling, is just left Congress for this reason.
But look at what
does she not have a following? Does she not? Does that woman not have a following?
No, she doesn't.
I think that's not true.
And
I don't think that's true.
They asked Trump about this. Is this a problem for the America First people and for MAGA? And he said straight up, MAGA is whatever I say it is.
Yeah, I don't.
And they love me and I love them, and they'll go along with whatever I say. They are in a cult. I've been saying this all along. They don't believe any of this stuff. It is just about him, and they'll believe him anything he says.
There's a fracturing happening, and even in Congress, some of these folks
just today. But we'll get to that.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you that this is not from the immigration policy, right? Where a bunch of our Hispanic brothers and sisters, they decided there was a lot of folks who voted for it, but that faction, no one has signed up for any of this. Hey, y'all did sign up for this. Let's start there. Let's be very honest about it.
Yeah, they didn't think they signed up for it.
Right? Well, everybody else is screaming.
And even the white people are like, yo, they're snatching people's kids. Like that's a little much even for us. Yeah, I understand that. There are fracture points where the overt horridness of the Trump regime is testing these breaking points or bending points. But I think that amongst his people, he wields this incredible hypnotic power over them. Yeah. And also there's a huge amount of fear. And that's why Congress doesn't stand up for itself, because they don't just fear being primaried. They fear being killed. Okay. And that's the thing that the Trump people have been willing to demonstrate, that they will unleash violence on their opponents at every turn, whether it's mobs of rioters, whether it's people burning down their houses, or whether it's Trump actually ordering federal troops into their neighborhoods to go kill them. Like, all of those things are on the minds of anybody in the Republican establishment or in the Republican Party or anywhere who are going to oppose Trump. They have to be ready for the repercussions, and they're not. So let's just get to this quick. Like,
speaking of Congress, they didn't know that this was happening. That's also in the
list. Congress didn't know about this. Congress wasn't briefed on it beforehand. Here's one of the possibilities as to why. There are sparse reports. I want to heavily emphasize sparse within the legit media. I don't mean idiots screaming on Twitter. I mean some reporting by NPR.
You got this from Reddit, y'all.
No. Sparse reporting from NPR, CNN International, and a few other outlets, El País being one of them, that part of this attack was also in Maracaibo, which is nowhere near Caracas. It's in the western half, or it's along almost to the Colombia border in Venezuela. There's a big lake there that feeds right into, it's a sort of a brackish water lake. There's oil in that lake. There's sort of famously oil in the lake from all the spills. It's where they hide their tankers a lot. So there was something that blew up there. The Colombians said it was a cocaine processing factory that got destroyed. But there's at least some of this stuff from the Atlantic Council, a report from Rand Corporation back in 2019, 2020, about a lot of Iranians and Hezbollah in Venezuela, and that Chinese money is funneling through Venezuela to Hezbollah and Iran
in exchange for oil, and that Hezbollah was building a missile and drone factory, or had built a missile and drone factory in Maracaibo, and that they were working with the Venezuelans and the Iranians and the Cubans, of which there were 32 Cubans who were killed in the raid to get Maduro out of the 200 people that were killed or so, that they're working to build missiles in Maracaibo and bring them to Cuba to get them within proximity to threaten the United States. If that sounds crazy, it sounds crazy.
Insane. So, I mean, let's just say in its entirety, it sounds crazy. Parts of it don't seem too crazy. The Chinese invest a lot of money around the world, and
they do, and they don't seem to care about rules, and so they don't have a dog in the fight in the diplomatic
infrastructure project being funneled to do this. Maybe I'm not going to throw it out completely, but it just is a very. I think the last part to me, I don't think this current Cuban government, as it stands now, would. I don't. There's no backing. They have the most to lose.
Yeah, I agree. You and I talked about this a little bit before, and I agree that the Cubans probably don't want missiles of any kind in Cuba. They've learned that lesson.
They've learned that. I don't even think Castro would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this again.
Yeah, I don't think that that's necessarily the case that they would either. But that doesn't mean that if Hezbollah had the opportunity to cause damage, and keep in mind, right, if they've got missiles there, even if they've got a bunch of them, the amount of damage they could do is probably fairly minimal. But even if it was something, like even considering 9/11, right? 9/11, all told, total number of lives lost and stuff, pretty minimal compared to what happens in other places where, you know, that same group of people
is a symbolism almost more of what happened.
Yes.
Of it being on the United States, like proper the attacks happening here.
Yes,
and they brought down 2 big ass fucking towers.
So
that's the.
If the Iranians through Hezbollah or whatever could strike and kill a few Americans on U.S. soil, knowing that it'd be a suicide mission, not just for the people who do it, but for their entire country, because it would cause a response not unlike what happened to Afghanistan, right? That they would be turned into a sheet of glass immediately.
And then, like, who else around them gets it like engulfed in this?
They don't care about that.
But I'm just saying, I think why no one does this in the sense is that this is still a globe. Like you then upset the globe at this point, because there's a knock-on effects, and I just don't think the Cubans would allow anybody into the country to do anything crazy like this, because they understand that, hey,
it might not have to be Cuba. It might just be anybody who they can get close to. It doesn't have to be Cuba. Anyway, my point in bringing this up, I spoke to some unnamed sources who told me all of these things. And notwithstanding whether I think they're telling me stuff just to, get me to say dumb shit on the radio, it could be. And if it is this, I just want to be clear, there is the Article 2 aspect of the Constitution in which the president is tasked with defending the national security and could, in an extreme and immediate threat, do stuff without notifying Congress and then go to them later. And we do know that they
never goes back.
They went to the Gang of Eight and did brief them basically the day after or 2 days after. And there was a full briefing in Congress just yesterday to the full Congress about what happened. My question is whether they really briefed them on this or not. Now, if this is the real thing, if the Maracaibo thing is the real thing, and there was an immediate threat that needed to be dealt with in this manner and was clandestine, here are several questions. One, again, why not expose it? Why not, after you do it, go and tell everybody this is why we had to do it, and pin the Chinese and pin Iran and catch them red-handed and hold it up to the world and say, look at what the fuck these guys are doing. That's question number one. Question number two is, if this is really why they did it, and they did brief Congress on it, we would have heard about it by now, because there is nothing as leaky as Congress.
Right.
And they would have absolutely gone and blabbed. Somebody would have talked about
Congress should be in the process of drafting articles to then like legitimize all of this.
Yes, but instead what happened was the Senate voted with a lot of Republican support on a bill that says nobody goes to war without our say-so, specifically in Iran and Venezuela.
Right.
So then that brings up yet another question of, did they tell if this is what they were after, would they tell Congress or not? There's a long history of the military and the CIA and whatever doing stuff and doing things that they think makes the most sense for the national security, and then lying about it to elected officials and waiting to see, what may come. And if you get busted for lying to Congress, you just, sweep it under the rug or get a pardon or whatever, right? And you take your lumps because you did what was right for your country and freedom. Okay, maybe that. It might be that. I'm trying to give them like an out here.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because Trump is constitutionally protected for this act. This is an official presidential act.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, but the people who did it on his behalf aren't. And that's a critical thing. And also, sentiments change.
There's going to be blanket pardons at the end of this anyways. Everybody's taking notes. Everybody's like, all right, yeah, we did this. Okay, remember, pardons for X, Y, and Z. Like there's obviously someone walking around and taking notes to be like, oh, we need to make sure these pardons happen at the end of this administration for this specific act, or a blanket pardon that takes up everything. So,
and to that end, there's this other problem, right? This was a long planned operation, and that they've admitted to. So if it's a long planned operation, why didn't
dummy house?
Yeah, why didn't you go to Congress and get authorization, or at least brief Gang of Eight? If you were planning this for months, you should have gotten, then that destroys the question of this was an immediate threat.
Right.
Now, maybe you're planning for it because you think it could become an immediate threat and you're just being prepared. And then when the moment came, you had to execute on it. That's possible. But again, here's the thing. Anything that involves a lot of people and a lot of time planning, the more people you have, the more leaks you have.
Yep.
And eventually something's going to come out. It might not have slipped yet, but it's gonna. All right. And we're going to find out. And the really important thing about this, while this looks like a colonial oil grab, which it very much looks like that, it looks like a might makes right, complete destruction of the rules-based world order. While it looks like a rampant disrespect for the sovereignty of another country, no matter how despotic their ruler is, or the self-determination of their people, all of that might be true. But it's not the Epstein files. And I think that's the thing that matters the most. Here we are having this conversation right now, and we're not talking about the fact that the DOJ is a month late on producing their Epstein files that Congress ordered them to do.
Yeah. But the Epstein files is the one thing that never goes away. And guess what's going to go away? Venezuela is going to go away, yo. I'm telling you.
Just like you were right about Afghanistan.
I'm telling you, everything is moving way too fast. But the one thing that seems to keep, it is literally a clock, and it goes around, and it always strikes back at midnight or noon eventually. It is the Epstein files. It's been for the last year. Things happen, it goes away, and it comes back up.
So
imagine if the Congress flips, for God's sakes.
Well, yeah, imagine, but what are they going to do? I mean, they don't seem to currently be able to compel DOJ to do shit. And who's to say that DOJ isn't right now destroying this stuff?
right? Every minute of time that they're not releasing it.
That's completely against. I get it's completely against the law, and I get they enforce the law, but
so is everything else they do. Yeah. Everything else they do. Lindsay Halligan is still calling herself the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, despite the fact that the judge ordered her not to fucking do that. And they do all kinds of illegal stuff. It really does come down to this, okay, make me.
No, you're right.
Here we are. We're going to go take another country. Fucking, you can't do that. Yeah, make me. Stop me. Go ahead. See what you're going to do. That's the thing that's really important. All right. You want to take a break?
Yeah, just terrible breaking
the score.
News. No, terrible breaking news. Russia appears to use a nuclear-capable missile in Ukraine. So
cool.
That's frightening.
I mean, most of their missiles are nuclear capable, but so are ours.
Yeah,
man. Look,
don't forget about that. I mean, the world has been pushed obviously in all these directions to conflict, and it'll be interesting to see what pushes it back from it, or if we all end up into extreme conflict, whether it's like, the projections of like China going at Taiwan, which clearly because the rules are slowly.
I'll put a clock on that.
Yeah, the rules are slowly deteriorating. 6 months is brazen. That's insane. But
who is going to stop them?
I don't know. That's the commander in chief. Does he send the United States military? I don't know.
No, we'll see. He doesn't. He says, why shouldn't they have it? We're going to take our half of the world. They're going to take their half of the world. Why shouldn't we? It's all transactional.
Semiconductors.
I mean, there's semiconductors somewhere else. He doesn't care.
That's not true. There's no those. I don't mean to say it this terribly, but it's almost like the folks in Taiwan, they're almost like from birth. People the training, everything.
They know how to do it. I understand that. Trump doesn't care about that. He'll work some deal with the Chinese that says you can take Taiwan as long as you keep selling us chips or something. It's everything with him is a transaction. It's all negotiable. There's no moral conviction. There's no line that can't be crossed. There's nothing like that. And he's just this is the thing that they all wanted. This is the thing that we all, that's it. Yeah.
I thought they wanted cheaper eggs.
Right.
I thought that's what this is about. I thought it was about cheaper eggs. I thought that's what this was all about. The eggs are still expensive, guys. The eggs are still expensive.
Bruh.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the next horrible thing, which is the federales shooting everybody all over the country, apparently. And then, then we'll go on to happier things like January 6th. So, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Then a prayer. Mirror told the truth, I had less up there. I cried in the shower, wore hats to bed. Even tried plugs, my pillows blood red. My cousin said, boy, you better face that scalp. But I had dreams of a girl with activator clout. So I found a spot on 38th and Main. A dude named Felix said, you'll never feel shame. shame. Oh, but the samples look like candle wigs, straight as a board. No soul, no anti-gravity shit. I say, yo, I got curls like Prince in the time. He said, well, sir, straight what's on sale, you'll be fine. This goddamn toupee, slipping in the club and shifting in the rain. This goddamn toupee, it got me feeling like a fraud with a head full of shame. This goddamn toupee, tied it down with a chin strap, now they call me Toops. Should've rocked the baldy, instead I'm out here looking like a damn fool. First night out, strutting with pride, feeling like Lionel until the wind said bye. Two paceless left, I dove right, landed on the floor. Now I'm fighting for my pride. My boys laughed so hard they cried in their beers. One said, yo, Toops, that hair doesn't go there. I tried spirit gum, I tried glue, I tried tape, but every solution led to itching and scalp scrapes. Even my lady said, baby, it ain't you. When I leaned in to kiss her, it fell on her shoe. I looked in the mirror, chin strapped tight, sweating like a whole track, walking on a summer night. This goddamn toupee is doing the moonwalk when I just wanna chill. This goddamn toupee had me out here looking like a broke Johnny Gill. This goddamn toupee tried to hold on, but the lie's too heavy. Should've just went with a baldy. Can't you see? This goddamn toupee burned it in the yard, gave the ashes to the sky. This goddamn toupee, now let my scalp breathe, no need to lie. This goddamn toupee, feeling free, feeling fly, and damn it feels right. Give me clippers and shea butter, I'm born tonight. Toops no more. Toops no more.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm
Good
your
for
host,
show.
Chip.
Yes, bring it back.
Whoa. What? Tez,
That's a
Uh,
lie.
yeah, how do you feel about that song?
Hey, look, shit, I've been went to Baldy. That's what's good for me.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Yeah.
I feel like Brian is expressing some emotions through that song choice.
What? He's good too. No one here has a
I gotta
toupee.
say, yeah, I'm not obviously so I don't really know, but I think most of the people I know, who go all the way bald, it's a good look.
Yeah,
It certainly looks like it's kind of low maintenance, right?
exactly. Yes, it's
You
good.
just
Yeah.
get up and go. There's nothing to even brush. You
Yeah.
just like it's make you more aerodynamic too, I suppose.
That is, yeah.
Is it good for the pool? You can.
It is great. It is, as a person who had extremely long locks and a ball, like swimming is. I love swimming again.
Yeah, right.
I enjoyed so much. I despised it.
Like when you come up out of the water, like you don't have it dripping down, or it's just
No.
like whoop, and you're good.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I'm not
Walt
gonna
does
do
not
that.
look good on Stephen Miller though.
No.
like, it's that's like gets because the problem is really you kind of need facial hair for it to work.
Yeah,
I feel
or
like
just have. I mean, there are
and the right shaped head exactly. Like
Yeah, and you can end up looking like a Bond villain pretty easily.
yeah,
So you got to manage that. I guess that is a Stephen Miller. I mean, real good example of like that's
not working. Yeah,
no. I can think of a few people I know.
Yeah, there's a few people who are like, it's not
for whom it does make them look like a villain. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, that was a great song, Toops, and I particularly like the bit about the chin strap. And do you think are there toupees with chin straps?
There's got to be.
There've got to be, right? How else do they stay on? I think of toupees as a not a black thing. Am I wrong?
Right? Yeah.
That?
Yeah.
I don't know any black guys with toupees.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work, right? The hair wouldn't look right.
Yeah, because I've never seen a toupee with black folks' hair.
Like waves.
Yeah, wave toupee.
It wouldn't work.
No,
like paste on cornrows.
No, I've seen those actually. I mean, I've seen there's wild stuff out here for hair. Like people could. It just seems like a lot of fucking work, to be honest.
I've seen the sprays.
The sprays are insane.
Where people like fill in their patches with spray. Yeah. And it's like, how do you think that's going to work? What happens if it rains or,
Yeah. Well, you see it in the NBA, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. Right. He's a really good example.
Sweat.
You see, he sweats it off. Yeah. Rudy Giuliani style.
Just go bald.
Yeah. What are you doing? All right. So now we're going to talk about some things that are going on here in the United States. And there is a video of this. There's a lot of video of this. I don't want to play that video. I don't think it's a little too much. I've watched it a couple times. I held off on watching it for as long as I could.
I briefly saw it once. I
don't want to ever see that again. Over the years, now that we all have video of everything happening all the time, I've seen so many more people getting killed than I ever thought I would ever see, not in a movie.
Right.
And I think that it's having a bad effect on me and on everybody that sees it. I think that, one of the things that you find out when you talk to trauma victims and stuff, for people who have seen something like that happen in real life, is that they kind of can't get away from it. They can't stop seeing it in their heads. Right. And I think that the more of this we're all exposed to, the more that PTSD symptom, or whatever you want to call it, is affecting all of us. I mean, it might be a factor of age too. I think in my 20s, I probably would have been more cavalier or callous about it, but in my 40s now, I can't stomach watching so many people getting killed all the time.
Yeah, I was done with specifically it's terrible for her, but I was specifically done with watching black people get murdered by the police. Probably 2017 for me. It was kind of like that was the year I was like, I'm not watching these videos anymore. And I do think it's still important because hopefully we're not beyond the time, because granted, I think George Floyd was a unique situation based on the killings that happened prior to that, right? God, I'm blanking on the names.
Mike Brown.
But even earlier, even about Breonna Taylor in that time frame, and was it Ahmaud Arbery who was the kid running? I don't know if that was.
That's him. He was out for a jog.
Yeah. So and all of that obviously juxtaposed with COVID. I think that's a unique time. But to the Mike Brown, even those sparked outrage, and people did go and hit the streets. And I think in this country, at a certain point, like people hitting the streets is important, right? I think
yeah, I think I'm not saying that we shouldn't
Yeah.
have these videos, because
I
I
think-
do think
you're right.
for a certain group of people, for many groups of people, maybe seeing is believing, and it's the motivating factor that they need, and so they've got to see the horror of it to really get
the
them.
German shepherds and the water hoses against like the
Yeah.
that's I mean I don't know. I think that was truly jarring because for the American public, but that also is happening at a time when TV, a new technology, is also hitting. So it's kind of like
it's similar in that regard, right? Because the live stream studio in your pocket sort of thing, it's relatively new. So without belaboring it too much, what's really difficult to do here is we got to talk about kind of what happened. Now, Portland, I don't know enough about yet. I've seen print reports. I have not seen any video. I don't want to comment too much on that, except to say that we know that ICE agents shot 2 people in Portland, Oregon in their cars.
Yeah, per traffic stop from what the Times was saying.
Yeah, and the ICE has started to use this narrative of people using their vehicles as weapons, as justification for murder. What happened in Minneapolis is murder. I don't care how you want to characterize that. The lady who was killed, her name is Renee Good. She was Renee Nicole Good. She was a mother of 3. Her husband was a military veteran. He died 3 years ago. She was a poet, apparently, and she was there. It's not even clear exactly whether she was there like doing anything related to the ICE stop, but you know, as ICE has been attacking cities and sweeping up little old ladies and children, there have been groups of people who are learning how to kind of notify the neighborhood about this. And specifically, one of the main tools is a whistle. And when you notice ICE in your neighborhood, or you get an alert that they might be around, what you're supposed to do is go outside and blow your whistle as loud as you fucking can, so that anybody else hears it and blows their whistle. And if there are somebody's abuela that needs to hide, they can handle that. They can do what they got to do.
Do you hear what we're talking about right now?
Yeah.
Do you hear what the act? I think it shouldn't be lost on the actual the actual conversation that we're having right now. That people are going outside and blowing alert whistles, like
literally blowing a whistle on, to hide from a Gestapo.
Yeah.
I am viscerally aware of what this feels like. I don't know how to explain this to people who aren't Jewish, but if you are, this feels like a thing. Okay. And it feels like something terrifying and familiar at the same time. We know this one. This is a thing that my people know very, very, very viscerally. So ask us. We'll let you know. So the whistles are our thing. People are blowing the whistles to alert and protect. And Renee Nicole Good was there in her vehicle in a Honda Pilot, and she was blocking the road. It's not clear whether she was blocking the road because she meant to be blocking the road, or whether she was blocking the road because she was trying to go there and ICE was blocking her. Apparently she was being yelled at by the ICE agents with a lot of conflicting orders. This is a thing that time and time again in police involved shootings, one of the things that is extremely clear is that the officer's lack of clarity of communication leads to some of these problems, where one officer is yelling, "Get on the ground," and the other one's yelling,
move out of the way or something like that. Or, you know, one is saying stop your vehicle and the other one's saying move your vehicle immediately. You're at conflict with both. If you comply with one, you could get shot by the other. You don't know what to do about that. That's very scary. So Miss Good was being ordered to leave, at least by one officer who we could hear in the video. And then another one is yelling, I can hear, get the fuck out of the car, get the fuck out of the car. And that guy walks up and grabs her car door. Her window is open, by the way, at the moment that they're having that interaction. And then she like starts to roll up her window and drive forward away from them. And the guy on the car door lets go, and another guy steps sideways and immediately fires into her vehicle. He fired 3 shots. One went through the front windshield, not directly through the front of it, right? But from the side of it. You can see that in all the photos and the clips of it where the bullet entered, and it wasn't in the front. The other 2 went through her side window, through the driver's side window, and struck her in the head and killed her dead. The car careens off the road, hits another car and stops eventually. The neighbors all run over to try to offer assistance. One guy who's a doctor is prohibited from offering assistance. We can see that in the video. 15 minutes later, their medics arrive, ICE's medics arrive, and she's pronounced dead. And, you know, the guy who fired the shots, you can see him in the video walking back, yelling something to his comrades about, you know, clearing space or doing God knows what or whatever. And he's putting his mask back up. He's clearly uninjured. He's totally fine. Yeah. And that's horrific. But then immediately afterwards, it's made more horrific because Cowboy Barbie goes and tells everybody that this incident was a self-defense, that the ICE was shooting in self-defense. He fired defensive shots, which is very evidently not the case. And that this was an organized terrorist activity targeting these ICE agents. I want to say 2 important things about that. One, this video showed me something really important that I never thought I would see about U.S. law enforcement. They're driving Nissans.
Oh, God.
They've got Nissan Titan pickup trucks and like Muranos and stuff. And
America first.
Yeah, I have always known that if I see Camry lights behind me, I don't have to worry. That one's not a cop, right? The cops have to drive American cars. Apparently, ICE.
Yeah, that is a great flag.
Drives Nissan.
An Impala is a very scary car at night.
Right. An Impala or an LTD, you don't want to see those lights. The Chargers, you don't want to see those lights.
Don't want to see
right? But if you see a Subaru or a Honda Accord, you're cool.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know, and if it is a cop in a Honda, he's in deep cover and he is not pulling you over.
Yeah, he's going home.
Or he's working a drug bust and he's not pulling you over for driving too fast and blowing his cover up. So, all right, so they're driving Nissans. The other thing is that these guys are acting in a way that there's a strange thing. The ICE's job is to snatch and like remove people and deport people. Crowd control is not their thing.
No,
they aren't trained to do that. They don't have any idea how to do that. They don't really know how to interact with the public except to go take people out, unlike the regular, you know, county cops or whatever. So the fact that they're being tasked with crowd control and management while doing these operations has put them in an untenable position because they don't know how to do that. And they're fucking scared and also hyper aggressive and told to kill anybody that moves. And they're doing that. They're doing that because they can and because they know that there's not going to be any repercussions for them. And we're all seeing it happen, you know, and Mayor Fry was like, get the fuck out of our city.
It's great. Portland said, "Get the fuck out of our city." I think that's going to become a slogan. ICE, get the fuck out.
It's federalism, right? This is what we're like, right? It should be that, right?
It should be that, but I think I am done catching them on their own hypocrisy. There's absolutely no point. They're totally immune to it. Catching them saying one thing and doing another is utterly pointless. I have said it on this show so many times. I'm going to say this on the show again, that this kind of thing is what makes the people shoot back. And
State National Guard should be protecting the people, right?
Again,
aren't you getting to these weird? You start getting to these really crazy, like
now you're talking. That's the federalism question right there,
right? What are we
Can
doing?
a governor call out his guard to push ICE the fuck out of a city?
Yes, I think yes. That's
I think we might be at that point, and we're going to see that tested. I think we're going to see that tested.
I think that's illegal, to be honest.
Well, if a governor called out the guard and said, we're going to go and stand between ICE and our cities, right? And then Trump federalizes the guard, can they refuse to be federalized?
Yeah, because the governor has to agree to the federalizing. Like that is
not necessarily.
I mean, there's specific times when that, I mean, unless he goes and he pulls guards from other governors who
right.
Like, but then you're in a different. We're back into, is the Ohio Guard going in to shoot the friggin' or go into conflict with the guard in Portland or the guard in
maybe
Minnesota?
I mean, when I tell you that we are at a precipice, we are at the precipice. That would be a thing. We have seen that movie before. It is called The Civil War. We had that happen.
Yeah.
Where states, individual militias and armed units attacked each other. That is the thing.
I think there ends up, again, it gets to a point where this becomes too much. And I think this is like,
we're fast approaching that.
We're getting to that point of it. And
the frigid temperatures in Minneapolis might be the only thing that's keeping this from turning into a full-blown revolution.
Whether I mean, you talk
but
about
Minnesotans are built different. They can handle that kind of cold.
They are, yeah. It's also, when you talk about, before this happened, what we talked about Minnesota about was this Somali fraud case, right? And it's almost kind of, it's interesting, like that to me is no longer like the news cycle, like at least for Minnesota, that's gone. Like this is now it, right? So like it's even then when you think of prior to this, they could easily sell like, oh, we're going in, there's these crackdowns. I know they cut funding. I forgot.
They attacked the funding in Minnesota, Colorado, New York, a bunch of Democrat-run states.
But now that's gone. Like this has now become the biggest, like, and then what has happened in Portland now, this becomes, again, there's a knock-on effect of, oh, like ICE is out of control. And I think it forces, Congress has been over the last few months doing more in the sense of their oversight when people visiting, like it's been more than it has been.
Yeah, but only one half of Congress.
Yeah, I think, and you should continue to see that. And I think this is a strong thing for oversight and what you could sell to the American people about why you should be back in power come November is that, hey, no, we will put oversight on. And again, they're going to go up against a huge. They're going up against a huge roadblock. But it doesn't mean just because no one's going to follow the law. I don't think you stop trying to enforce the law.
No, I agree that you keep trying, but you have to remember that the mechanism for enforcement belongs to the people who are committing this.
Belongs to the president, right?
Yeah, and okay. Trump is telling everybody that there is a targeted campaign to attack ICE. I don't think there is yet. But it wouldn't be
unimaginable.
No.
And I think in their calculation, speaking
Hasn't
of
this
them
already
being,
happened? Didn't someone already shoot it?
yes, in Texas they did a little bit, but okay, you know how you mentioned that they're very calculated in this.
Yeah.
I think that the Stephen Miller types are spinning up the violence to be committed by ICE with the intention of drawing a retaliatory strike.
I don't think the American people in these groups, I don't think they're that one who they're attacking, and this is going to sound terrible to say this. I don't think a lot of them folks are built for that, to be honest, because a lot of people talk about the revolution and shit like that.
No, they're not.
They're not built for it. So I don't think they're
not.
A response.
The people who they're snatching aren't.
Yeah,
but the people who feel it, who maybe aren't the ones who are being snatched, and let's just say it, white people.
Yeah.
Could be looking at this situation and saying, that's it, I've had enough. And it would take a very few. If there's anything we've learned from,
you usually don't kill white women dead in the street. Usually not, right?
Right.
Usually.
If there's anything we've learned from right-wing violent extremists in this country, is that just a handful of them can be extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And I think that ICE is trying to provoke a response, and I think they're going to get it. I think what's going to happen is a group of people who are ready to die to make their case, to prove a point, or to take as many of them out as possible or whatever, are going to stage something. They're going to block a road, get the ICE to come out and yell and get all of them standing around somebody's vehicle or whatever, and somebody from a different location, house behind them, whatever, is going to open fire with a bunch of heavy weaponry and kill a bunch of these guys. I think that's going to happen. I think that happens within the next several months. I think that's very, very soon. And I think that the Trump people want that to happen. They're willing to sacrifice a dozen ICE agents or whatever that could be killed in such an opportunity, because then they are going to retaliate and take that as they're like, see, we told you these guys were that. And then they're going to start really, then it's on. Then the war is on.
It's a terrible way to, I just don't.
I think it's going to happen.
I think there's a pullback from the administration. I think they look at this and say, this is insane what we're doing. Because Donald Trump at a certain point
turn it up. I mean, maybe they turn it up. We've had
possible.
2 instances in 2 days, right? Where's the third one? Pick a city. Chicago, New Orleans, Charlotte. Where are they concentrated at? Where are they attacking? Memphis. Where are they attacking people's families? They're going to snatch the nephew of the wrong person, or they're going to snatch the grandmother of the wrong person, and it is going to be on like Donkey Kong, and it is going to be a big fucking problem.
I think you're more inclined to have these solo acts of people maybe who are on that same, like they just have given up on life, versus coordinated from someone who has like a direct impact in the sense of someone they love was snatched up. I think
it only needs a couple people.
I'm not ruling out violence.
So small.
I just don't think
the amount of heavy weaponry that is floating around in this country, that is readily available, that is easily available.
What's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie I just watched the other day? I don't even watch movies like that, but I ended up seeing this one, and it has Tiana Taylor. Is it a battle after battle or something like that? Literally, the whole premise of this movie is like a rebel group that's going into like detention centers and like breaking folks out. Like it was literally what you're saying. And again, I was watching the movie. I was like, this is too much. I was like, because God forbid if this is the future. And they're like,
I think you got to be ready for it. I think it's happening.
We'll see.
I think one more of these instances happen and Trump yells martial law, and then it's on.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I just I again
Look at the story they're telling. They're calling their offensive attacks defensive. They're creating violence and telling people that they're trying to protect them. It is every bit the fascist playbook at a maximum volume. Maximum volume. They are causing violence and claiming they're there for security. We saw Mussolini do that. We saw Hitler do that. We saw Pinochet do that. We have seen Duterte. In Philippines, we've seen that. We've seen this. We've seen it happen in Sudan, and that's turned it back into that fucking war again, where they did exactly the same thing.
And I think all of us can agree.
Sorry, I just wanted to see. I'm looking at the far right's coverage of this and just seeing
Cowboy Barbie.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing what the headline is
about Portland.
No, just about what do you call it? What's Renee Good?
Yeah. What is Fox News saying about Renee Good?
Just as always,
she's a violent terrorist. They're calling.
I mean, it's just even crazier than that. Renee Good's wife claimed Minneapolis shooting was, quote, my fault in video amid anti-ICE fury.
Wife?
Yeah, I don't know.
What? Oh, yeah. Sure. It's because she's gay.
Exactly.
She was driving a Honda, not a Subaru.
Right, exactly. Calm down.
Calm down, people.
Calm down, everybody. But yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, I'm not going to go and put, again, I think we're at beyond the point where we're like predicting violence, because violence is already here. It's been happening. It's not like I don't see the coordinated violence necessarily.
This is like slow burn. This is little stuff. I keep telling everybody there's going to be this long-term slow burn insurrection that is going to come from the right. And because they believe that they're entitled to this and they've got the weaponry and they're going to fight. And this is where we are. They're setting this all up.
I just think the American people see videos like that, and I just don't think it ends up like. I think there's a majority of Americans who can look at that and be like, all right, nah, this is. If a majority of Americans could look at the video of George Floyd and be like, hey, this is a little fucking too much, I think these type of videos, specifically with a white woman, will also push people towards that. Like, yeah, and
then what's the reaction? What's the response? That's the thing.
I don't think
people come out in the streets and here is Kristi Noem and the Trump administration telling everybody that people who protest are terrorists, that people who disagree with them are terrorists, that J.D. Vance has a press conference and tells the reporters that they are the problem and that they are treasonous. They're creating violence. That
all the major papers came out and said that the president is lying, basically. That
yes,
these people are lying. Everybody said, like, yeah.
Yes. What do? What is the response?
They have an option. They could go and start mowing people down, and I just don't see that being the option from this administration. Like, and again, it could be. It just becomes. It gets to a point where. And maybe it has to go there for everybody to wake the fuck up. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe
what happens if you back an animal into a corner?
No, I agree. I think the animal you're talking about, though, is the American people.
Okay, what happens if the American people back the Trump administration into a corner and they go, fuck it, we've got no way out of this. We're going to get slaughtered anyway. We may as well go out swinging, and they're going to unleash the army or whatever. They can. I mean, it goes either way, right? Either way, it's violent. Either way, people die.
And
either way, it's the dissolution of the republic. It's no good. None of this is okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. But see, the dissolution of the republic. That's where we always. It doesn't have to die, because the whole idea behind it starts with all the American citizens. So if the federal government does that, then what do people do? You go back and you have to recreate a new federal government.
No, I get that. I've seen Star Wars and all of the other movies. I know how this works, right? Like you topple the the empire, and then you put the fucking republic back until it forms into an empire again, and then it builds a planet.
Maybe we can make stronger. Maybe we can make stronger laws this time. I mean, it's clear. Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I thought the 14th Amendment was pretty strong.
I mean, it is strong, depending if you're a corporation.
Depends how you want to use it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strong. It's the strongest, maybe one of the strongest amendments. I don't know. Does this end in some sort of violence? More than likely. What that looks like, I do think is probably more sporadic and things of that. Like, I don't think it's going to be coordinated at any point. The only people who in general could coordinate it, to your point, is the federal government. And yeah, then you get into like General Kane, right? Does he just roll with that? Like, as much as you like, do you
no, I
does
believe
he not resign?
I think that the upper level of all the services would resign, and then he'd find willing lieutenants below them. Yeah, I think so.
But then you get
the services would split too, right? Some of the people would go along, and it would be chaos. It would be a thing that people really aren't understanding or ready to do. I'm not saying any of that. We talked about that even vis-a-vis January 6th, which is the next thing that I want to talk about. That like what happens when the cops are shooting at the cops, right? Because the people who were attacking the cops at the Capitol, many of them were law enforcement.
Yeah.
And they were perfectly willing to beat their own kind because they were wearing a uniform that day and the other guys were wearing Confederate flags. I mean, it is that. So I don't know. I think then now we are talking about rugged individualism. And maybe small, tiny collectivism, groups of people defending themselves. I think people should be ready for that. I honestly, I do. I think you got to be ready. Yeah, I'm not saying, become Alex Jones.
I don't think the American people at large are ready for that.
No, they're not. That's why it's going to take a few people, some of the people who are more ready or more willing to sort of look out for their local group. If you're in my neighborhood and the fucking Nazis come, you know where to go, and it's behind me, and I'll do what I can until they kill me. And that's what's going to happen. And and I know several people like that. And it's just going to have to be that, because what else are we going to do? I can't think of a better answer. You're not going to think of it now.
I just want to make sure that like people don't because even some of the folks, like, I think you see this even more on the right, is where everybody wants to be like a star in this drama, and the drama is there, but I just think we got to be careful of like not, and this goes on the. This is more specific to the right there, but I think where it goes on the left is like not getting dragged into it until specifically around violence, until it gets to like that point, like where it's like, because again, what happened in Minneapolis is insane, right? Like, that's insane. And if people went to the streets, right, with fire and with pitchforks, right, that could be called for. I just think we all need to understand that, to your point, the response for that tiptoes us into something different, and the energy has to then be the same. Like, it doesn't. Once it's out the bottle, everybody. So, like, if there is a way that we can try to do this shit using the rule of law, I beg of everybody to try to approach that.
I would love that.
I would, whether it's these district attorneys or whoever they are, to file charges against this officer and bring that, like, again, and I know they're locked out by the FBI from investigating this at this point, but like, you have to attempt those levers, because once we decide to go do this shit another way, I'm telling everybody, okay, cool, everybody, let's do it. All right. But like, make sure you're not on your fucking phone on fucking TikTok and shit like that. Like, we all have to then like lock in a different way.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I want to be very clear. The only thing I want to be the main character on is this show. I don't want to be the main character anywhere else.
Because all these other things that like you really want to work, whether it's your job, like the economy, center, like things like that. When you start to shake all of this shit, like this a stable federal government and not killing its people, and the people not wanting to overthrow the government, that's kind of how you keep all the basic shit that we want our nation to do.
That's right. That's how you keep ice cream in the stores. Yeah.
But once you stop that, and you're wondering maybe like why the toilet doesn't work or the trash isn't picked up, and like there's these other things that happen. And again, if this is where you have to go to get to the other side of this, all right. Like
now you're starting to really come to the understanding that I have already come to.
If you have to do that, but I don't think you have to do that.
No, you don't have to do that, but you may have to do that. And I want to stress to people the things that you're talking about, infrastructure, the basic services, all of that hinges on people. Okay. Right. The electricity doesn't flow without people. The water doesn't flow without people. The gas doesn't flow without people. So if those people are too afraid or unable to perform those services, that shit is going to stop. And you need to be ready for that. You need to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So just do that. Okay. Let's go on. Yeah. I'm trying not to be, but speaking of alarm, January 6th. So we just crossed the 5-year anniversary.
We did. Hold on. I should show you the book I'm reading for the anniversary.
Go ahead. Get your book while I tell this story. I was speaking to somebody just this week on the anniversary of it, who was a police officer who was there at this event. He's a MPD. He's retired now, but he was a cop at that day, and he told me the story about how he had just worked on the motorcade, bringing the president to the Ellipse, and that they were eating lunch, him and his buddies, when they got a citywide call to respond to the Capitol. And they never had a citywide call in their entire careers. And they converge and they get over there and they see what's going on. And this guy said to me, I looked out through the crowd and I saw the Confederate flags. And he said, and the only time I'd ever seen a Confederate flag and been okay with it was on the Dukes of Hazzard. This was something else.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, well, what'd you do? And he's like, my sergeant said, suit up, we're going in. And that's what they did. They suited up, and he got bear sprayed and a bunch of other stuff happened to him. And they basically had to beat their way back. They literally swung at whatever was in front of them until they pushed them back and secured a little perimeter and a little space until the troops arrived, till the guard arrived. And he was telling me that he saw a lot of people get hurt that day, his side, the police side, getting hurt. And that these guys were pardoned as a result of that, after that. The look I saw in his face when he was telling me about this and then talking about the pardons. I don't know if you've ever looked into the eyes of somebody who you think is a pretty strong, tough individual, right, and seen a kind of despair and rage at the same time. That's a really powerful thing to see, because that in that very instant, he's feeling all of those things, right? And he's thinking that, oh, well, of course they got away with it. And all I kept thinking is, why the fuck didn't you shoot them? They're so quick to shoot everybody else.
They knew. I still think it has been difficult in this country for white folks to shoot other white folks in mass. Is crazy. Like, the Civil War is wild. Okay. Like it and even then it's like some people who were fighting, not everybody was like, some people didn't want to go do that. Like,
but a lot of the cops that were there are black, and they didn't shoot either. And
they know something deeper. I think
they know they better not shoot, or they're going to get shot.
They know something even deeper at that point. I'm clear on that one. If I was a black cop too, I would be like, even in the white cops started, if they were shooting him on that, I might not shoot.
Right.
To be honest, because I don't, again, because then you're really trusting that fraternity. But yeah, I just think, I mean, it pains me to say this, and not saying like, yo, I might hear, I want to see people just get mowed down and murdered. But it does pain me to say, in a sense, that like you couldn't shoot them because, again, similar to what I think the protesters know here is they know that the reaction to that is something larger that we can't put back in the bottle. If that happened that night, and even when I saw this going down, I was like, oh, yo, you can't shoot. We're close. The election is over with. We need them to certify this. You can't stop. That's the only thing that matters at this point. And I think the police knew, in a sense, that they know that the day was. They know what needed to happen. And if you did that, you'd end up changed this country forever, because these insurrection acts and things of that nature would have been immediately put in place. And God knows, we could still be in this shit right now. For God, like, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know. So I just think you did. And again, when it comes to like, and I don't believe in fairness in this country at all, because it's not fair, but it believes into like fairness or moralities, specifically being a black person and watching people like, and like, yo, the Capitol, the dome shit, that shit is built by fucking black folk. Like,
yeah,
that shit is ours more than anybody else's.
It is. It is.
Like, that's and
Bill O'Reilly said that you guys had fun doing it.
Right, exactly. This fucking guy, and even just to see, because that day, like, to see all those, specifically some of them, more the folks who made me more upset was the unserious ones, to be honest. The serious ones
sort of making it like a joke.
Yo, like I found that to
like
be
Chansley and Shaman.
Yeah, I found that to be offensive. And I think again, the fear grasped all the politicians, because the only thing I can compare it to that is, I'll use the Malice in the Palace as an example, and I'll get where after that night when the Malice in the Palace happened. If you look back at all the old tapes, all the everybody on ESPN was like, the fans they were tripping out. You couldn't do this. Like,
yeah.
And by Monday morning or whatever, or the next morning, there was a call that was clearly put in to be like, the tone needs to change on this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like, when I think of January 6th and the response that same day, like, like the Congress really, like, you have to be like, yo, Congress, good job that day. Like, y'all came back that night to make sure, because that is what the whole story of America.
They suddenly got tough enough to be like, oh, we're not going to be cowed by a bunch of radical wannabe revolutionaries. We're going to come back and we're going to do our goddamn job because we love our country. And for like a hot second, they
48 hours, 48, everybody, McCarthy,
yeah,
Pence, all these people out there,
Cruz,
Lindsey Graham, everybody was on the same message. Now, the fact that no one had the spine to go ahead and make sure that this motherfucker could never run again and actually impeach, like, and convict, because that's the mechanism in the law.
It took less than a week for them to start backtracking on that.
72 hours, man.
And Tucker was out here saying, like, how dare you call this terrorism? And Cruz was out here pleading.
It started then.
Pleading for his, like, absolution at the hands of the right-wing idols. And now that they're all pardoned and some of them are working in government.
Yeah.
And Trump is out here, he's going to unleash them again. That's the thing. It's like, this was the test. This was the crystal knock. This was the, what can we get away with kind of thing. And they got away with this, and it's emboldened them. And they know that the next mission that they're going to send themselves on, or that they're going to hear from Trump in a tweet or whatever, that Tario is going to go out and decide is the thing they got to do. Who knows what it is? But he's going to point these exact same people at the thing he wants to kill, whether it's Mike Pence or otherwise, and he's going to tell them to go do it. And guess what? They're already pardoned.
One, yes, a lot of them are pardoned. I do think even out of the ones who are pardoned, it would be less of them that do this again. I don't think you get the whole flock.
Well, a lot of them are really old.
You're very old.
That's the thing. It's
very
like in
old.
the last 5 years, he's not been kind to a lot of them. A lot of them,
some of them are in jail because they got locked up for other shit,
child pornography and various other things. And a lot of them are destitute because even if they got pardoned, they still lost their jobs. Yeah, that's all true. But I think it sets the tone for if the president asks you to do something or implies that you should do something and you do it, you might be okay. You don't have to suffer any consequence.
I think what you look for, because if you think about like some of the things building up to January 6th, I think the Unite the Right rally is one of those things that you can look at. That's built. We haven't seen that yet. It's been more of like the federal government has been like the actual, like the full on, like it's just the government.
I think that, I mean, imagine a call that comes from the government for something that looks a little like a paramilitary group or something like that. And whether he calls it the Presidential Fitness Club or something, you know, and then they're all like, yeah, come volunteer and come out in the woods and train. We're just going to spur on American fitness. And we're all into like being in good shape or whatever. You know, it's like, it could be that. It could be something, you know, that starts off kind of benign, but is about indoctrination or like vetting out, you know, just a few hundred of their loyal soldiers.
I think they're just more focused right now on other things. And I think that's the best hope that folks have for going into. I think they're focused.
I think the grift is the protection, because how do they make money at committing January 6th? They can make money at toppling Maduro and stealing oil. They can make money at private prisons filled up full of, you know, Mexicans. They can make money at war. Yeah. How do they make money at brown shirting? I don't know how they do that. I'm sure they'll figure out a way.
I mean, it's more so the like shoring up your base of voters, which isn't strong enough to win a full election. Like they're not strong.
If you're worried that the election, the impending election, is the thing that could disrupt the grift, which I think is a very real thing for them to be worried about. If you think that somehow you're not going to be able to keep building dozens of private prisons all at once, well, then you unleash your goons to go break that shit up so that you can continue to run the grift. And that's where it really comes down to. And that's why I keep saying, like, I'm not sure this election that you keep thinking is going to happen is going to happen. And here's a mechanism by which they can stop it. They can send these guys from January 6th or otherwise pre-pardoned to go commit violence, to justify a state of emergency, to postpone indefinitely any election. And
I just find the way elections are done in this country to be very hard to do that effectively, right? It just isn't.
All they got to do it is in one state or in one county, and then that makes the whole thing not.
No, it stops there, and there are mechanisms for people to go in and continue to count. Like there are ways that the state, in the state level or local level, they would address that there, but it's not going to stop from California from counting all their ballots.
No, but what if you have a compliant state that is willing to do this? You know, if Alabama or whatever decides, you know what, yeah, it's too dangerous to hold an election, we're not going to do it.
There's other shit that's going to be on the ballot that people are going to want to vote for. It's not just the federal side. Like it's not. They're not going to stop. Like Alabama has probably other shit that people need to vote on.
Members of Congress that are supposed to be there from Alabama aren't there, and Mike Johnson is still speaker, which he would be.
Yeah.
He might say, look, we can't swear in the next Congress.
That's the only thing. I think that's my only big worry. And I think we wait till January 6th again next year, and we'll see where we're at with that. Like, that's the only thing that matters.
Congress swears in on January 1.
It's one, excuse me, but yes, January 1. Yeah. But again, that's the only thing that actually ends up mattering on there is that elections.
Didn't we already bet a 6-pack on whether the election's going to happen or not?
Yeah, happen and swearing in. I think for me on January 6th, specifically this year, is I just found that I found the media coverage to be lacking. And granted, Venezuela was the biggest thing, but I still find January 6th to be a bigger event than 9/11 in this country. I wouldn't go as far to say it's bigger than Pearl Harbor, but based on based on the knock-on effects of that. But you almost could say it's very reminiscent of not so much immediately after the Civil War, but I guess immediately after Reconstruction and like redemption. And it's almost like in a warped way, in a faster way, where you have now, and I blame the media on this as well too, for it not being a collective, like, hey, specifically when you have people who are coming here to say the opposite, where there isn't a remembrance or these type of, and I know the federal government would need to be the one to actually drive that, but I do think like that should be front page.
It should be, and there was exactly one outlet that did that, and that was NPR.
That defunded the most.
Yeah, and NPR like made it a point to say that the federal government, they built an archive knowing that the feds are deleting this information from their records as fast as they can. And so they've created the archive of record for it, and I guarantee you have shipped it off to Denmark or someplace, where it can't get like EMP'd or whatever. But the Trump government has done everything they can to erase the memory of this. It's almost like they're trying to kind of Men in Black the whole country into thinking that this didn't happen, and replace it with a whole nother story. If you look on Fox News or any of these places, the story about January 6th is either non-existent or a completely bizarro world version of this, where brilliant and brave patriots came and peacefully demonstrated while the Congress dithered around, and Ashley Babbitt was shot in cold blood and whatever. And they're not going to talk about how Ashley Babbitt was in the speaker's lobby or trying to break her way.
Is this a slavery is states' rights? Like, it's like a Civil War is states' rights versus slave. Like, will it
it's more than that? It's like telling the story of the happy slaves who valiantly stayed behind to defend their masters' plantations while their brave masters went off to go fight for the states' rights. And that story, I'll tell you, as a Virginian, was definitely something I was taught in school by real teachers, that this made up story of slaves staying behind to defend the plantation from the dangerous Yankees.
A mass exodus of slaves. Like almost every slave was running at a certain point, like 3 years into this shit, was running to the Union lines.
Yes, but the story that we were told was that these brave enslaved people stayed behind to defend their benevolent masters' homesteads from the dangerous Yankees who were going to come and burn everything. And here's an example of where the Yankees showed up on the porch and I don't know, Rachel Smith, the slave, who raised the 3 children of her master, stands on the front porch and tells those damn Yankees they better get on and not to touch the house. Like, they told us this story. Yeah.
I wonder how January 6th gets taught.
They are telling that story about January 6th right now. They're telling the story that Ashley Babbitt showed up at the Capitol to support her president and was shot in cold blood by the damn deep state that tried to kill her for simply loving America. That's the story they're telling right now. Go look on Fox News. Type in Ashley Babbitt and look and see that was what your cousin Enrique was marching for. That was a memorial march for her life 5 years on. That's incredible.
It is. I mean,
it's not true, by the way. I don't want anybody to clip this show and be like, that's what happened. That is not what happened.
No.
What happened was a bunch of dangerous, radical, attempted revolutionaries built a gallows outside
the Capitol and stormed the building.
Planned it for weeks prior.
Out in the open of everybody with
the January 6th commission is insane. Actually, I think that will be at a certain point watch TV again later years.
The same thing about these videos with the people getting shot. I can't look at any more of this. I'm feeling it's scaring me now talking about it. I don't want to talk about this. It is not safe for me to watch this. I feel the fight or flight.
Yeah.
I feel it now. I'm talking to you now. My palms are sweating.
You know how I calm my nerves, especially in this specific important year of America. No, I'm actually doing a dry January.
Oh, okay. Well, good. You're with me on the soda. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But this is how I decided to calm my nerves for my first book of the year.
Oh, with your nerd ways. Okay. There. Oh, Tocqueville. Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let's go back to
a Frenchman's version of America.
Yeah, a Frenchman's version of America. I think, you know what? A Frenchman, yeah. It's very,
Have you actually read that? You're not gonna like what you're gonna find.
Oh no, I'm not. No, this is my first time finally reading. No, I've seen
You're
all
not
the
gonna like that. And don't read Dickens's accounts of America either when he came to visit. It's not good.
No,
Tocqueville is basically horrified by what he sees in America.
Yeah, but he makes very interesting points. He's the points that so far as I read it, I see his down the middleness. It's just more of like, hey, these things this is how it could end up going. But again, I'm the notes on the actual book itself from the translator and like the people it was like 100 pages just to get to the introduction of like.
I'm just saying, you're not gonna like what you're gonna see. It's not good.
And I'm very excited for the passage on the races. And look, he was wrong on a lot of things.
He was wrong on a lot of things, but it's a strong indictment of our early founding. It's not a pleasant thing.
He just makes these interesting things of tying it back to like how the origin of where folks come from that still bleeds into it, and they were using like resting weird. on Sundays, and he was just describing how like on Sundays the church, like between Saturday night and like Sunday, everybody's disappeared and like they all leave the streets, like it's there's no work. And they show how these laws that start from like Plymouth Rock end up becoming part of laws in like Massachusetts years later, because it just starts from that initial Puritan vibe in the North, because we know the rascals of the South were completely different.
Yeah, those are a bunch of
the Virginia. I was gonna say the Virginia folks who came over, they were not of the best. They were not of the best people.
But eventually, somehow established ourselves as the gentility of this.
Because then after the worst came, the aristocrats. They're like, oh, hey, hold on, and you say there are slaves there, huh?
You say I don't have to actually plant my own things.
What? Oh,
I'll be right over.
I just have to be the capital. Oh, we can
no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of complete nonsense, Mark Kelly. We'll make this real quick.
This is so foolish.
Senator Mark Kelly is a Navy commander or captain. What was he? Captain, commander. I think he was commander. Was his title, or no? Maybe he was captain. Yeah, captain. He was captain in the Navy. He was a fighter pilot. Flew 39 combat missions. Got shot at a bunch of times. Then he went on from that to another career as astronaut. The sort of thing that regular Americans do.
That's usually the astronaut pipeline. Everything you just said about him.
That's true. Is that many of the astronauts are former military or engineers. But yes, he happened to be a shuttle pilot. So was his brother, twin brother. Which I always love to bring this up, this crazy experiment that NASA got to do where they could take two people with the same DNA and chuck one of them up into space and keep one of them down on Earth and see how much the space brother got altered. And Mark got to stay home and Scott got sent up into space, and they regulated some of what they did so that it wasn't like too different. But like Mark got to have pizza and
like sleep in his bed with his wife. And Scott had to eat freeze-dried pizza and sleep, velcroed to the wall in the space station. And I know which I would have chosen space. 100% of the time I would choose space. I would do anything I can to go to space. And I understand that astronauts are also wired to want to go to space and not to get to stay home and eat pizza, but you do see maybe which brother made the better choice. And not only did Mark get to stay home and eat pizza, but Scott came back with like fucked up DNA from all the radiation that he suffered in space. But it was an interesting experiment again. So Senator Kelly is a senator from Arizona. He made a video with a bunch of other Congress men and women who were either former military or intelligence, reminding American troops that they have a duty not to follow any orders that are illegal. Which is in the Uniform Code of Military Justice and is sort of a standard practice of the behavior of the services. And so Pete Hegseth called him a seditious traitor and Trump said he should be hung and that he wanted him dead. And, Senator Kelly's like, come at me, bro. And, they have not come at him, bro, for obvious reasons. Trump's obvious reason is that he is a fat old man with dementia and cankles, and Pete Hegseth's reason is happy hour. And so they didn't come at him. But then Hegseth was like, no, I'm going to go after your military pension and like your rank. And obviously the money isn't the thing that matters to Senator Kelly, but his rank and his position as a retired captain are things that he earned over a 30-year career serving our country and putting his life on the line, and to have a 2-year National Guard grunt who flunked out of everything he did tell a fucking astronaut
you're pissing off the military with this. You don't know.
It just does seem like it's a bad political move, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're the wrong people, and you'd be surprised because maybe they're the ones who save us at the end of all of this shit. I hope.
Well, those guys are pretty good at being apolitical, and one of the things that they'll say all the time is that we don't do politics in the military. We follow the Constitution and we follow the law, and we've earned our whatever, right? And they'll say, I might disagree with the man on a lot of things, but I can't take his rank away. I can't take his status away. He did earn those things. Then it turns out that CNN comes up with this tape of Pete Hegseth doing what?
Oh, God.
I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. There's a standard, there's an ethos, there's a belief that we are above what so many things that our enemies or others would do.
Oh, look at that.
That's a different ethos than the warrior ethos.
Yeah,
right?
Isn't that funny? There he is saying the exact same thing.
With his hands in his pocket, looking crazy.
Look at Pete. He was
who speaks to people on a stage with their hands in their pocket?
People who are uncomfortable with what to do with their hands when they're speaking.
You can still do shit with your hand. No one's telling you to be like you can do basic things with your hands.
Look at who you and I are and what our backgrounds are and why this is not a problem for us.
This is so uncomfortable to just be pacing with your hands in your pocket is great. Yo, that's a man's a psycho. But I didn't need to. That's what's tipped me over the edge with this guy is him presenting.
That's the thing. I was watching an interview with Hakeem Jeffries again today, just before we were coming on air, and like, if there's a thing that is so quintessentially Brooklyn, it's the all of this.
Oh yeah,
it's the like everything is with the hands, and he could
American people are exactly.
Yeah, he could be muted, and you would still understand exactly what he's saying at all times because you can hear what his hands are saying. Yeah. And, of course, my people, big hand talkers, Italians, big hand talkers, so it's a thing. But I don't know what Hegseth, like.
It looked so uncomfortable.
He was holding on. He's holding on to his flask. That's what he was doing.
Of course, both of them.
Yep, we've all been there. Okay, and then the last thing that we want to talk about is the descheduling of the vaccines. Then we're going to let Brian go off. But okay, so there is nominally a Department of Health and Human Services. It's run by a guy who very much needs some health and probably some human service, and his name is RFK the Eighth. He hates vaccines because they worked and kept his children alive. And, for a Kennedy, I understand that, right? Fully grown living children, not what they're used to. So what? Why couldn't he be more like his daddy and his uncle, in so many ways? So
Christ.
What? Don't get high and mighty on me. So the Center for Disease Control will no longer recommend that every child be immunized against rotavirus, influenza, meningitis, hepatitis, and a bunch of other things. So they cut the list of vaccines.
Sounds great.
Yeah. If you want your kids to die of meningitis, sure. And I would point out that none of those are ones that were eradicated. It's not like
right.
It's not like they were like, well, we don't really need the smallpox one anymore.
The flu is stronger than ever.
Flu is very much real. I know 8 people with it right now.
It's super flu.
Yeah. And meningitis, it's a bacterial infection. It's not a thing that you can just stop having exist. So
bacteria will always exist
because they're already there. Also, you're 90% bacteria. You are more bacteria than you are human.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, right? And then they're also going to fuck around with the MMR. And this is all right after he said directly to everybody, I'm not going to fuck around with the vaccines. And then, of course, he's going to fuck around with the vaccines. And, Bill Cassidy was like,
I don't know why we do this. I don't know. Shut up, Cassidy. God damn you. I mean, he's a doctor. You voted to confirm this guy. You guys, I don't know why. I don't even know why we have the hearings anymore. For them to talk, it's a waste of fucking.
Yeah, because they're just lying.
It's a waste of time.
So the American Pediatric Association put out a thing saying that don't worry, we'll still tell you, what to do.
States are, again, we're getting to federalism. And the states are banning, there are states that are trying to band together to actually come up with their own guidelines.
That's what they're doing. That's right. So the AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics, will continue to publish its own childhood vaccine guidance, maintaining routine recommendations scrapped by the Trump administration. And it's not that these things aren't available. It's just that you'll have to go through many more steps, right? So children could still receive vaccines that are no longer broadly recommended by the federal government, and public and private insurers would still have to pay for them. They're not removing that requirement, but you'll have to get these vaccines after consulting with the doctor or a pharmacist who will tell you to get them. So again, it's not
another added level though that's unnecessary.
And it's one of those things where the more barriers you put up,
exactly,
the fewer people are going to access it. And that's really what their goal is.
Yeah. And you're also now confirming for folks who are already vaccine deniers, anti-vaxxers, and let's say you were on the line of that, right? And you didn't know, and maybe you're just well, but the federal government isn't doing because again, I think sometimes you can't. I would hope that people are oh, it's not the federal government. This is RFK Jr. and
but he's got the levers of the government,
and then that's the
trust of the federal government is, and that's what he's always wanted.
And I think honest people could look at this and be oh, well, then if they're saying that, no, I'm not going to do it. So
yeah, so and let's get to what the real goal here is, right? Again, it's the grift. The anti-vax people aren't against vaccines because they want children to die. It's because they want to sell you ivermectin or whatever the fuck when you do get sick. And because they've built in that skepticism of the people who can help you, you're going to go to them who can't help you, but will definitely take your money as you die. And, at some point, this is a little Darwin. I'm gonna be a little honest about that. If you do feel the need to eat horseworm medication instead of getting treatment, and you are possibly going to contribute to the gene pool, hey, get that squeeze tube out, baby. You know, bleach it up. I'm not going to tell you not to. It's a free country. You want to shoot bleach up your ass with a UV light? That's cool. You know, just make sure you do it before you have kids. Like now would be a good time. If you want it, if you're listening now and you have just the hint of an idea of like, I want to try megadoses of vitamin A instead of, you know, measles vaccine. And now that you can't get treatment for hepatitis, which is what megadoses of vitamin A will give you, you should do that. Please enjoy your freedom that you love. Okay. Speaking of things that people love, I disgusted Tez. He doesn't want anything to do with me now. I'm not telling anybody to harm themselves. I'm just saying if you're interested in that particular thing, I'm not stopping you. Brian.
Yes, let's move on, dude.
Let's move on.
I'm still here.
Brian, your beloved Ravens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made a choice after 18 years. It's hard to believe. 18 years. John Harbaugh's tenure at the Baltimore Ravens could vote if it was a person. And the Ravens have decided to do what?
Part ways, as the modern day term is.
Yeah.
You're fired.
I understand. I do understand why they made this choice, because it was him who missed the field goal, right?
No.
He lost the locker room.
Is that the story? What? Yeah, tell us as the insider, Brian.
Oh, okay. I have two. Let's put it this way. I have two statements.
Okay.
Two statements of why what happened.
Is the first one
First,
fuck
I'll
Aaron
give
Rodgers?
the proper ChipChat statement here.
Okay.
I believe what happened to John Harbaugh was due to the fact of him meeting Donald Trump earlier last year, and that caused the cursed effect. Because if you guys remember,
I'm not mad at this.
Early in the pre-warm-ups of the Super Bowl last year, Donald Trump shook hands with pretty much the entire Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you know what happened afterwards? They got an ass whooping.
That's belt to ass right there.
Yeah.
That was a whooping.
Yeah.
Philly.
So figuring it's like, okay, everything was good. So we got rid of the Chiefs. But unfortunately, when I noticed that picture early in the season, and I was kind of like, oh crap, I hope this didn't happen. Please.
What is he on that sports committee or something?
He mentions during the training camp, say, hey, I went to visit the president. I thought it was a good venture, him and his brother. And it was like, oh God.
Wait a minute. Don't you bring St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor into this.
He's in the picture.
He was there.
He didn't do anything wrong.
He's in the picture.
He was there. He's right there next to him.
He just went for the Big Mac.
Don't expect the Chargers to win the Super Bowl either.
He just went for the Big Macs.
No.
You know he likes cheeseburgers.
Better yet, maybe
all the Michigan guys. All the Michigan guys are Trump guys. Clearly, Tom.
Yes.
Don.
So
Tim.
That's my ChipChat statement.
Okay.
This is the no filter sports statement.
Yes, I was gonna say switch hats.
Beep, 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 beep,
okay.
Just curse words and bleeping it out.
This was not Jim Harbaugh's fault.
Jim, wait a minute. Jim didn't do it. No. Don't put Jim in this shit.
Oh, excuse me. Let me correct this. This is not John Harbaugh's fault either. Yeah, this is not John Harbaugh's fault at all. So he was a scapegoat.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I've had these discussions with fellow fans. Most notably, hey, shout out to our good Trump, the good Trump. He's always wanted Harbaugh gone for the last 4 or 5 years.
He has been campaigning for him to go.
But Everyone kept saying it's like, oh, Lamar's keeping him there, and it's
Didn't
like,
he save
but
him the
still,
first
if you
time?
look at
Didn't
how
Lamar
that team
save
has
him?
been doing, it's like it's due to the fact that John Harbaugh's coaching. So the unfortunate thing here is like, especially this season, it's been injuries.
Yeah.
Complete
Same thing
injuries.
happened to us.
And for some odd reason, no fan wants to see that. And they keep blaming it was John Harbaugh's fault. And everyone say, we have a generational talent, we're wasting it and all that stuff. Okay.
Your last 4 seasons have ended horrendously.
Explain the fumbles? Does coaching explain the drop passes? Does coaching explain anything? It is like, look, you can teach these guys for eons and they're just still going to muff up. The coach, John Harbaugh, did not do all. Should have got
rid of Lamar. Then you should have got rid of Lamar.
Field goal.
Just throwing gas on the fire.
Stop! No, he should not.
Stop it, Ted.
It's to keep the coach and get rid of Lamar. That's what you should have did. Since that's the case, if it's the coaches.
Well, that's where again. This is where I think the stupid pundits of the NFL, they don't know what's going on in that locker room. When you start hearing the BS about he lost the locker room and all that stuff, it's like, no, he didn't, because I've seen those post-game interviews or post-game behind the scenes in the locker room. The players were all in. And when Raekwon Smith, he ended up posting after, Harbaugh was let go, and he pointed out fully that it was not his fault. It was pretty much all the focus was gone. The determination was gone. And it was not due to the fact that because they lost Harbaugh. They lost it within themselves.
But ain't the coach supposed to drive that? Isn't the coach supposed to inspire that?
I think there's a lot of players that like him.
And he did. That's the thing. It's just like, for whatever reason, the players didn't keep it within themselves.
Okay,
you could see this. You can tell fully that certain players in this day and age in any sport, not just football, but any sport, you can tell some players are disengaged. I can go over to, I don't know if you saw recently that someone was chewing out Izzo in the middle of a huddle. And it's like, dude, you're chewing out your own coach who's been in this game for pretty much 50 years.
Longer than they've been alive.
2 times before you were born, and you're chewing him out.
Yeah, okay, look.
He's taking out all players. He's pro management.
yeah. It's okay. Brian is like the maximum Trumpista here. I got it. I'm not saying it's Harbaugh's fault either, exactly, but you do have to wonder.
Someone's got to fall on a sword.
Somebody's got to go down. That's how sports works, and you do have to wonder how you have a team with Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, like that offensive power that can't score. You have that question. Why are they down to a kicker? They can
score.
It's not the kicker's fault. It's not the coach's fault that the kicker missed the field goal. It's the coach's fault that they were within needing a field goal to win. That's the way people are going to look at that.
No, that is BS. Okay, that's not it.
That's the way people discuss that, though. I'm saying that. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying that's the
thing. They want to discuss it that way, but let's fully be honest. And it is literally, it's like the players got to do what the players have to do. They are told what play it is, or they have a play in mind to work with, and for whatever reason, they're not executing the way it should be.
Because even the other team plays defense
15 billion times, and somehow there's always something that messes it up.
4 years in gutter defeats, like heartbreaking defeats. What happens? What do you got? Like, it's in 4 years straight. There's been and this is like the worst year.
This wasn't the worst aspect. I felt that the 2011 AFC Championship game, when Bill Cundiff missed that field goal for just a tie, was more gut-wrenching. But we redeemed themselves in 2012. I just feel like in this scenario, yeah, it was gut-wrenching. Yes, I was yelling in front of my mirror and pissed off to the world. But in the end, I felt it's like John Harbaugh should not be fired for this shit.
Well, I think that we're on.
I told this to many people. I'm going to say this. I'm going to told this to many people. John Harbaugh may be fired, but Mike Tomlin is on that hot seat. I do not see the Pittsburgh Steelers beating Houston. And if they surprisingly do, they will not get anywhere past the divisional. Mike Tomlin is actually out this door within the next week.
Tomlin's in trouble too. I think that Harbaugh and Tomlin were the longest tenured head coaches in the league by a lot, by like orders of magnitude. Yeah. And with the exception of Andy Reid, and Andy Reid's a legend, and nobody can touch him. But like I think that these guys, if one goes, then the other is vulnerable. As long as, and that's just eventually the baton is going to have to pass. And it's just going to have to happen. I don't know whether it's legit or not, but here's my question is exactly how long until somebody hires him? Because I heard that within
seven teams, I heard.
Yeah. The funny part was about the 7. It was like,
right. The Schefter quote was about 7 teams.
And so Raven became the 7th. And then it realized the fact it's like within like today, the Dolphins had to let it go McDaniels. And I'm like, oh, okay.
So where do you think he's going to go?
A friend of mine told me he should take a sabbatical, but that's my friend. But I feel I would love for him to get out of the division.
Yeah. So
don't come here. Don't go to New York.
There's rumor mills that Cleveland wants him or wants to at least talk to him.
Well, Cleveland's an idiot for firing Stefanski.
Miami and the Giants are good fits.
Yeah, they are good fits.
I think he goes. Yeah, Giants is a pretty good bet because they like really the defense and stuff. That's
once you get good. Those, and you have that young quarterback on the rookie scale contract. Right. Scatterbo comes back. I don't want
Scatterbo's back, and Dart is actually pretty good.
Don't want him in the Giants.
I don't want him in the division. Where I'd really like to see like the wildest thing, right, would be if he goes to the Raiders to replace Pete Carroll with that draft pick and like builds them up in the desert from where they haven't ever been, and becomes and then turns that AFC West, which is used to be like the division, now that the AFC North is the division in the AFC, but like that great era of like Oakland, Kansas City, and Denver just battling it out, right? Denver's back, KC's on the fall, Oakland could be the team, the drama's all there, right? Like that could be that. We
can have the Harbaugh Bowl, twice a year, so
right, and you could have the double Harbaugh Bowl because they'd be in the same division. That's the thing I want to see. I know that's fantasy. That's probably not where he goes.
He'll be a good. Raiders seems logical. But in your standards, but I think if for him,
the Harbaugh Bowl
the better fit is either New York or
television.
Miami.
That's great
Miami doesn't have a quarterback. That's the problem. I go to the Giants because it's a quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even have a GM, so we gotta figure that out.
They don't have a GM either.
Don't worry. Tua can't understand what you just said.
No, that is not nice. No, that is bad.
Poor guy. We love you, Tua. All right. I'm sad about Cliff Kingsbury, but I don't want to talk about it.
Talk about you. First of all, you can't get away with that. You just we need to see your tears as well too. Our tears.
No, I'm sad because I don't think it's Kingsbury's fault. It's injury's fault. The Washington football team was decimated by injuries. If you want to blame anybody, blame the training staff.
It feels like though there's these damn rumbles. If you see the reporting, they're saying the players are upset by this. Number one, they're saying that there's been a lot of moves from the front office that have not been on the same level with it.
I think also,
like, God damn it, we're back here again already.
Yeah, we're back here again. I think also it's an age thing. We've got the oldest team. It's got to shift. And
here's what I'll say about what Washington this year, and I think it's a credit to those older players. No matter those losses, they didn't quit in those games. I think the Denver game was one of the Denver game for me was the one where I was like, oh, this is a different team. The team this year, even with the losses, they didn't quit. They still played football. And I don't
mean to take anything away. No, Brian, you don't get to disagree. That's not your team. I don't want to take away from like Bobby Wagner and these guys and how hard they worked as veterans to like bring up the younger guys. I think the screwing around with McLaurin on the front end of the season,
so dumb.
Damn it.
So dumb.
it damaged the locker room because you're ultimately going to give him and pay him anyway. Like, quit screwing around. He's well liked. He's not the guy to pick that fight with. And I think the screwing around with the special teams, not having a real kicker the whole season, and not really having what to me looked like a coherent special team strategy. Despite DQ saying that special teams is the third phase of the game, he didn't really seem like they put enough effort into that. And that damages everything because it puts the defense on the field for longer. They've got harder situations.
Defense looked confused this year. Defense.
Yeah, and even though the secondary got a lot better, Mikey looked really good. Lattimore is in jail right now.
Right. He's in jail.
I mean, it's a joke. The secondary's one guy can't be one guy. That's not Kingsbury's fault. But like, Cliff had to run an offense with a rotating cast of line, a rotating cast of back, breaking news.
Yes. Breaking news. Just to let you know, the winner of the Fiesta Bowl is the Miami Hurricanes, 31-27.
Go Canes, baby. Canes, national champions. The U is back. I'm fully in on this Miami team. This is the Miami team. I'm fully in on this. I was in with Cam Ward last year.
Georgia quarterback, though.
Yeah, exactly. And Beck this year.
Yeah.
Shout out NIL, baby.
The Cam Ward story is a better story.
It is a better story. Yes.
But all right, let's end this nonsense. I'm all pissed off about football. And I don't want to be pissed off.
I got a potential championship. I got a championship.
You want to come back for No Filter Sports?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be mad. I'm just letting you know now. I'm gonna yell.
Hey, that's the whole point of No Filter Sports.
I got a championship game I'm watching. My team might win the championship.
Also, after leading my pool the entire season, I lost it in the last 2 weeks.
I don't want to talk my fantasy. God, what a terrible way to just go out. I made the playoffs with a losing record. I knew I was going to lose. I knew it was over with.
Hey, I like to shout out to my fantasy leagues. I ended up third place in both of them, so I'm happy. I'm good. So
way to go. Way to go.
Brian went on this run at the end of the season that's just incredible. It's insane. I don't know how you
don't doubt his brilliance. All right. We want to say thank you to our radio partners, Minnesota Public Radio, and all the local stations that are covering what's going on up there in Minneapolis.
Oh, hold on. We got to shout out. We got to shout out our new StreamYard has been bought by Bending Spoons US Incorporated. So that's who's
wait, what?
I have a banner on my screen. That's why I asked for the breaking news sounder earlier.
Mine doesn't.
It says to simplify our structure and support long-term.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
So shout out to Bending Spoons.
I just clicked right through that. Thank you, Bending Spoons. I don't know what that's about. Okay.
It's a great name.
Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another year. We've crossed another year with them, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway and Ripped Radio for making us sound as smooth as that sweet Venezuelan crude. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials there, Tez?
Find me on Blue Sky DC Cortez.
All right, you can find me and the show on the Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And you can find me on the Blue Sky at Chef Chip. And you can find us every Thursday night. Next Thursday night, we've got an incredible guest. So you're going to want to stay tuned. They make cool stuff out of bombs and landmines. So it's going to be an interesting story. And now they have a whole new place to get material in Venezuela. Hooray. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. What's crazy? I went to NOTN and it's literally, I got to screenshot this. It's our show about the Key Bridge collapse in baseball. That is
nice.
It's on the banner right now. It's at like
we're still on.
It's still on. It's at 5 p.m. I think weekdays at 5 p.m.
There you go. Hey, we've been giving them material for years. We love it. All right.
We're on now, actually.
We're on now. Yeah,
we're on now.
We are. We're live.
It just has a crazy banner that has nothing to do with the actual show that we're doing right now. But we're on.
Shout out to New Orleans, man. We love you guys, and be safe down there and all that stuff. And, don't let the ice in the door. All right. Those are all the things that we have to say. It's time to go to bed. I'm Chip. That's Tez. Brian's in the background. Go read a book. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Street Balls.
Another chapter in history, another verse. Trump promises political violence, but no hearse. FTG and Shapiro try to rap, but don't rehearse. These right-wing nuts can't get any better, just worse. Tez and Chip out here trying to save the republic like Tez on the golf course. It ain't private, just public. When we have a drink in the bar, it's not beer, it's a public. It's hard to get something to rhyme with this subject. If we get famous, we can give a shout out to Brian. To get us out on time is what he be trying. The show is like a custom feathered avian that knows words. How can we stay late when our guest is Illy Bird? In conclusion, the message is to go out and serve folks, whether that's through art, music, or if you just tell jokes. Seek to medicate your ears, hope you eradicate your fears. Thanks for sticking with us through all these years.